Today is going to be such an amazing day right here at the Next Wave Career Summit. And let me tell you, this is not a day just for you to come here and get information. Because here at the Next Wave, we believe that information without application is only fascination. We got bars this morning. Say, join the wave. But guess what? Information with application will bring you transformation. Join the wave. Yes, and I want you to join the wave today as we share information. We have some outstanding panelists, some amazing speakers who are going to be here to connect with you today. So my name is Sherman Brown. I'm the founder of the Aim High Empowerment Institute. We got some young people from Aim High in the house. Aim high. Yeah. Aim high. Yeah. Aim high. Yeah. And this is an empowerment program where we serve as a GPS. Young people tell us the destination that they're trying to reach, and our goal is to help them to get there by any means necessary. And today I will be your host for the Next Wave Career Summit. So thankful to our Assembly member for allowing me to be your host for today. Just to give you a flow of what today is going to look like. We have a number of amazing panels that we're going to do. We're going to have 2 panels this morning. One is going to be on the entertainment industry, talking about production and television. Then the second one is going to be on content creation. I know you guys just got here, but we also want to give you the chance to be able to network. How many of you guys ate some of the food in the back? If you ate some of the food was good, say Chick-fil-A. Say Chick-fil-A. All right, Chick-fil-A, yes. So what happens is we're going to have a break in the afternoon where you're going to be able to get some lunch, you're going to be able to network, you're going to be able to connect, and then we're going to have 2 more panels in the afternoon. One is going to be on the business of beauty and grooming, and then the final one, we're going to talk about the next wave of business, really the blueprint of how you take the information and actually apply it. So today's going to be amazing. We're going to be in this one space. If you're looking for restrooms, we are going to have restrooms upstairs. I want you on your social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, right? For those of us who are older, I want you to make sure that you put in join the wave. Hashtag join the wave. Let me hear it together. Join the wave. Join the wave. Yes, yes, yes. So we're going to start getting our first set of panelists to come to the front right now. We're going to ask them to just take a seat at the table so that way we can flow this along. The panelists for the entertainment, production, television, we got Benaya, we got Mr. Washington as well. We're going to ask you to come to the front as well. And then we're going to also ask our youth moderator, Dijon, to come here and join us as well. Give a round of applause to the panelists as they're coming up. All right, do we have, is that Mr. Grace Miller here with us too? Yes, 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 yes. These are our panelists. And look, again, today is the day for you to get the information, but we want you to also apply the information. And it's about youth in action. This is not just about being here at an event, but we're also bridge building. So make sure that we're building connections, we're building relationships, and having a contact doesn't mean you have a connection. To turn a contact into the connection, the fortune is in the follow-up. So make sure that as we leave here today, that you are following up, you are connecting with folks as we make things happen. So are you ready for the first panel? I need to hear you join the wave. Hey, join the wave. All right, so leading our first panel is a young man from the Aim High Empowerment Institute. He's one of our lead facilitators. He's been doing great things across New York City. He accompanied us to this event called InvestFest in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was able to meet with the founders of Earn Your Leisure, and he's doing amazing work in the Bronx, really spreading financial literacy, and he's actually the real wave within Aim High. Ladies and gentlemen, I give a round of applause to your moderator for today, our youth moderator, Mr. Dijon Weller. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah, can I hear me? Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Dijon Weller, a youth empowerment leader of the Aim High Empowerment Institute. And today we're going to be talking about how young people, like myself, could build real-world careers through media, photography, television, and production. The reason, I just want to bring this out here real quick. In New York City today, entertainment is everything. Entertainment is everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's entertainment. And thankfully today we have a few wonderful experts that want to share their education and their knowledge with the rest of us. Now with that being said, can I get a round of applause for our moderators? All right, so first question I want to ask, just give us a bit about yourselves. Like, who are you guys as people? Where are you from? Who are y'all? What type of media are y'all in? Go ahead. Yeah.
First, before we do that, I want to give a huge shout out to our assembly member and our council member and some of the elected officials that put this all together. I think this is a great time to be in a beautiful communal space with like-minded people. But my name is Tyreek Washington. I am from the greatest borough the world has ever seen, Brooklyn. I'm joking, but we greatly appreciate being up here in the Bronx. A little bit about myself. I'm the founder of 4TE. We are a multidiscipline communication and community engagement firm, have over 20 years of experience working in television. We have syndicated shows on PBS, WNYC, CUNY TV, and various other networks and that. And I do entertainment, but I like to say that I do what's called substantive entertainment. And so we focused on how does not only to provide some level of enjoyment, but to have you somewhat informed. So I have a lot of political educational shows and that we produce, and I'm excited to be here with some of the other panelists on board to connect with them, and I hope to connect with everyone here. I do have a hard stop, so I have to leave, but I would definitely love to connect and share information with everybody that's around.
Nice. My name is Shane Miller. I am the Associate Director of the Photo Department at New York University. I'm also a freelance photographer who has worked with a number of brands, celebrities, things of that nature, including TikTok, Google, YouTube, Spotify. There's a long list of different people that I've worked with over the years. So I have a vast knowledge of things related to photography, creative direction, storytelling, and I'm from the greatest borough, which is the Bronx, actually. So.
Hello, everybody. My name is Benaiah War. First off, I want to thank you for having me, all the visionaries and everybody who put this event together. And I want to shout out to my Bronxnet team. They're actually recording right now as we speak. So I'm from Bronxnet. I'm an education producer at Bronxnet. I facilitate our internships there. And Bronxnet just is a space where we do television. We record stories of different people in the Bronx community, people who are doing awesome and great things. We have so many different shows that we do. Some shows are in the studio, some shows is in the field, and other shows we record virtually. But we just want to hear the heart of people in our community and what they're doing to help and to improve everybody's life in the community. So pretty much my journey there is just starting off as an intern. I was part of Lehman College, grateful to be there, and I worked my way up and just found so many different opportunities through people and connections. And I'm from actually Harlem, New York, Manhattan, sorry. And I so happen to work in the Bronx, but it's an amazing experience. We all the family, y'all, so yeah.
It's really a pleasure to just talk to people that's really in our area, that really came from the woodworks just like the rest of us. And I just want to ask this question. For every single career, there's a spark that ignites the fire, right? There's a spark, there has to be a spark that ignites the fire, and that fire is going to fuel your rocket to get to wherever you got to get to. So with that being said, what sparked your interest in media or storytelling, and how did you begin? Starting with Mr. Wyrick. Hello.
My brother, my last name is Washington.
Sorry.
No, absolutely, it's all good. I think for me personally, I see entertainment and whether that's me, my company has partnerships with Sephora, LVMH, or we've done the Target rollout DEI program before they got rid of it, but we're gonna pray for them to come back to the fold, or whether that was some work that we did in the record music industry. I see the work that I'm doing as an extension of my activism. I think that there's a role and a responsibility that we must have with these mechanisms to not only, like I said, to inform, but also entertain. And that duality can both exist, and believe it or not, it's also profitable at the same time. And what do I mean by that? I'm not talking about pimping out our conditions, but understanding that you can do well and do the right thing. This industry that we are in is deeply commodified, it's deeply commercialized, and it's a sickening that I personally believe that's happening, that there's this allure that there's not a demographic that wants to be informed and entertained. So for me, as a person who went to Juilliard at a very early age, I am a musician by passion, sees the extension of what I'm doing as a role and responsibility that I have as a servant of our community. And so there's a deep duality for me that I think is extremely important, that is needed never before, that you can be at the forefront of the latest trends, but it is a responsibility that we all must have to educate our people, to be a part of the advancement of our society. So the spark for me was the conditions that I was living in Brooklyn. And so understanding that, you know, I grew up in Crown Heights, and there was a great contrast between Crown Heights and Park Slope. And why was that? And it was just, of course, the racial barriers that exist, but the social, economical, and political understanding of that. And so for me, picking up a piano, picking up a film camera, editing, and various other tools, I think is extremely important. To get back to your point, what was the spark for me? It was the personal conditions that I was finding myself living in, and how can I use my artistic endeavors to better that reality, if that makes sense. Absolutely.
Now a question for Mr. Benaya, right? What was your entry point? What was your first real opportunity in the industry? In the industry, and how did you get it?
Well, for me, what was so funny is that, so going back to me being from Lehman College, I was a college student, and so it was in class. I was actually like wanting to do something in my field. The field that I was in was film and TV studies. Yet I didn't find any opportunity yet to be part of the industry. And so I had a couple classmates that they was like, yeah, you can start at an internship at Bronxnet. And I'm like, really? Yeah, you can sign up and go on the interview and be able to be an intern there. And so I went on the interview and I was like, you know, just trying my best to just make a good impression. And so what had happened was I got it, and then I started off as an intern. And what intrigued me so much is just everything that goes on behind the scenes. I was like, wow, like it takes this just to put on something special in front of the screen. We had so many different team members all the way down from the floor. You got floor managers, you got camera people, you got people in the control room where like they're directing, producing, everything. It just was so intriguing. I was like, I want to learn this, I want to learn that, I want to learn audio, I want to learn CC, I want to learn everything, you know? And I think that kind of was my start of just trying to learn and taking everything, like just doe-eyed to everything. Like, I want to learn this. And also, too, I want to be able to use this and catapult it as a way to tell stories, not only for the community, but also for people who don't have a voice as well, and to teach it to other people. I think I'm grateful for that for Bronxnet. Like, they were able to teach me, but also you're able to teach others. Like, so it's just a constant flow of you being taught and you teaching others.
That makes sense. I have a personal question, because you brought up something really interesting about how you wanted to learn everything. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's something called over-learning? Meaning, I learned so much to the point where all I'm doing is learning and I'm not taking any action. Do you think there's something like that?
I mean, yeah, I believe that can happen if you are learning without applying. Right? So if you're just taking in things and there's no application with anything, it can become, you know, something that not long term doesn't become useful. So I think it's important to learn apply, but then find that thing that you want to focus and dial in on, and then learn more from that and master that. So that's why I would say when it comes to the learning aspect, that it's okay to learn multiple things, but find that very thing that you want to dial in on or focus on, and then continue to grow in that.
Oh, so it's essentially just honing in and executing.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. Storytelling. When can you create a photo, video, or show, and how do you decide what story needs to be told? From Mr. Shane?
That all depends on your client. You have to pay attention to who you're speaking to. You have to pay attention to what the goal is when you're having that conversation with whoever it is. So if I'm taking a picture I work with somebody by the name of J Tips. He's a designer out of the Bronx. And if we're working with a brand like New Era, for example, I have to make sure that I get their branding in the photos. I have to make sure that I get people touching the product. I get people trying it on. I get people smiling. Versus if I'm working for New York University, that's a completely different story. I have to get people engaged in a speech similar to something like this. I have to get candidates of people just paying attention, being involved in whatever is going on. I have to get more detailed photos of the people that are sitting on the panel. So you have to pay attention to who your client is and what they are trying to achieve. So storytelling changes. It's not singular dependent on, like as a photographer, you can't go into it and say, this is how I shoot. You have to speak to whoever you are working for and just achieve the goal that they ask for.
Amazing. I have a question specifically towards young people. How do you get young people more involved? How you brought up how you cater to your audiences. How would you specifically get young people more involved?
I think that I'm unapologetically myself, and young people appreciate that as well. So if I'm going into a room as myself, speaking how I grew up in the Bronx, so I speak like the people from my neighborhood. There's different vernaculars and different things that we use that other people may not. So making sure that people are comfortable is extremely important. Also, giving people something to look at that is desirable is important as well. Like certain accolades, knowing that I have a big title somewhere, young people will look at that and say it's achievable because somebody that looks like me, somebody that acts like me, somebody that dressed like me has done this before.
So it's all about building that connection. Like I was here too, I was just like you, and I dress like you, I act like you, and I talk like you. Mm-hmm. That's a fact. Next question. What are important careers behind the camera that young people may not know about, Mr. Washington?
Okay, so I think this is very important. This is when we was having this kind of flushing out this conversation with some of the members of Assembly Members team. I think this is extremely important. One, there's such an emphasis on those that are in front of the camera. And I understand it. I think the celebrity complex is real that exists in our community. A lot of us want to be seen and heard, and I think that's important. But as a person, I'm an EP for literally all of my shows, and so that means that I also control the financing of a particular program. We don't realize, particularly in union wage jobs, these, from an audio engineer to a videographer to even an assistant editor, the wages that exist that's deeply connected to these jobs are unbelievable. And they are sometimes the cause and effects of productions not even coming out. But because a lot of us are not exposed to these kind of career pathways, we don't really understand the magnitude that they actually have. Here's for example, I have an audio engineer that gets paid more than a co-host for my show. Now, we are literally working this out. I don't want her to see this and feel any type of way about it, but this is just a reality, right? And so, and I think that the more that we have these very untraditional conversations to expose people to what is a line producer, what is a floor manager, what are assistant editors, and various other jobs that don't have the kind of spice that a lot of just being an anchor or a reporter or correspondents have. I think that we will understand how powerful this industry is. You control the media. Those that, Noam Chomsky said, those that control the media control the mind, right? But there's a production, there's a team of people that actually get Prime example, I have a 2646 show that airs on PBS. There are about literally 40 people on the production element of that particular show. And so that's not, so you have production that records the show, then you have post-production that has to edit the show, color correct the show, do various other things. These type of jobs we need to be able to be in. When I say we, listen, I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm talking about black and brown people. I go into a lot of these studio houses. There's no one on those lines that look like us. Now, you know, Councilmember Stevens and I see our BP is here. She's been on, Vanessa Gibson's been on my show. I'm making a thing to have black people in my production room, both on the production side and the post-production side. But that is such an important question because we need to understand we need to be some of these line managers and line producers and audio post-production managers and various other things. These are great careers. These are excellent wages and great careers. And a lot of this is this. We talk about untraditional means, right? This field is deeply subjective. And what I mean by that, there's really no metric stick of what's good and what's not. There's either a marketplace that determines what's good and not. And so a lot of these career pathways don't have to have, and I'm not knocking it, don't have to have the very traditional training of higher learning, right? Of academic achievement in that space. And so these are something that a lot of us need to look at. You know, if you like sound, balancing out sound, there's some certificate courses that you can take to work in a lot of these fields. So we talk about untraditional careers. We also need to be talking about untraditional pathways to getting there. College ain't for everybody. I know we at CUNY. Listen, I love it. I promote it. I think is deeply important, but we also need to expand the understanding of how do we become great, how do we provide for our families, and also make our contribution in the careers and pathways that we want to be in.
That was amazing.
Yes. Ms. Dijon, if you could, we're going to just go to the audience to get a question from the audience, then we'll go back to you. We have a young lady here, Keturah. You could introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Couture. I'm a newest member of AIM High. My question is what made you keep going about the PBS Kids Network since there was no black representatives in the business?
Well, I don't want you to think there's no black representation at PBS because they are, and y'all president, not my president, but he's cutting funding, so we want to support PBS as much as we can. But I would say this: one of the things for me again was how do I express myself creatively. And so you look for, PBS is really, I know a lot of us know PBS from Sesame Street or whatever, but PBS is also a distribution outlet for very powerful, influential documentaries and also public shows. Like one of my shows is Let It Rip, hosted by Angelo Pinto. It's a political show that we have there. And so for me, what keeps me going, what keeps me intrigued is this. Shout out to the Bronxnet, but we beat Bronxnet at the Emmys last year, so shout out to them. But also what keeps me going is how do I express myself artistically? And that's important. He talked about how do you be your authentic self, that you enter rooms, you enter spaces as your authentic self. And there's an avenue and lane for me personally that has a strong desire to get all of this craziness that I have out in my head into the world. And so what keeps me passionate and motivated by this entertainment business, because it is a business, but it's how do you maintain your authentic self artistically at the same time.
I just want to add into that. I have the power to hire people as well with my position. So I make sure to use my power. That's one way that it motivates me to keep going is I can see somebody who's talented, who is black or brown or white. It doesn't matter. But if you're talented and I have the opportunity to bring you in a space, I can do that. And that's something that I do not take lightly. And I have done that at New York University where it did not exist before me. So that's something that we can do.
You speak on, Mr. Shane, you speak on talented. How do you view somebody that is talented? What does that person look like?
Consistent. I think consistency separates you from everybody else. You could take the best photo in the world one time, but if you don't do that consistently, then I'm sorry, you're not talented. You have to keep going in whatever your craft is, keep growing, keep expanding, diversify your portfolio, and that's when we start to call you talented. It's not like a flash in the pan for that.
Amazing. Now, Mr. Benaya, what does a producer or creative director actually do during a project?
It's really good. So I spent a lot of time at some point being in the control room watching it all play out. Even at some point, I was a producer in some way. So basically, I always like to say this to my interns. I always like to say that the producer gets the groceries and the director cooks it up, right? And so the producer is very, very impactful in the process before the production, right? So you got pre-production, right? The producer is emailing the guests, reaching out to the guests, making sure that the guest has everything they need, giving them the information for the show, right? They're connecting and partnering with the people. And then by the time you get into the show, they're making sure that the guest has everything they need when they get there, that the segment is going in the proper way, the timing is going in the proper way. The director is in charge of making sure that everything that producer gives them, they execute it to its best ability. At some point, I was also a director directing live television shows. So at that point, it was my part to make sure that whatever the producer's vision was, we was on the same page, and I executed that with having meetings with the team, making sure everybody knows their role, camera people, floor manager, you're communicating with them, you're taking the shots. You're also at the same time making sure that everybody upstairs knows their role, the timing in which the music is supposed to come in, the timing you're supposed to go to commercial, the timing you're supposed to come back and you get rundowns, you get the program and run the show. So it's a lot of different components. But one thing I will say that I really enjoyed about being in that atmosphere is that everybody being on the same page and having good chemistry with one another makes a difference. You can see it on the presentation of what you see on the show, the delivery, even in how the host delivers. It's all dependent also on the team as well. If the team is executing well, if things are not going well behind the scenes, it's not going to look pretty good. But if things are going well and everybody's on the same page, and you might have stuff that may come up out of nowhere that, you know, just happens because that's part of like the showbiz. But if everybody's on the same page working together, it brings the vision into fruition.
It's crazy that you said that because the older I get, the more I realize that I'm really competing against teams. And people that go by themselves, they're just saying, I probably heard of it. If you want to go far, you go together. But if you want to go fast, you go alone. And that really, it's really crazy to me because a lot of work that goes into media, a lot of stuff that goes into like my childhood, I never even imagined. Like it was literally like a hive mind. It's literally a hive mind that goes into it all.
Yeah.
So I have another question for Mr. Shane. How do you build, what does it take to build a long-term sustainable career in media today?
It goes back to my previous point about consistency. Following up is also extremely important. Sending out pitch decks and things like that to clients. And I'm at a point now where I'm kind of in cruise control when it comes to my freelance career, where different brands, whether it be PR agencies, the actual companies, they'll reach out to me to come to work with me. But when I'm
Mr. Shane, could you pull the mic a little closer to you? Thank you.
When I'm in the go mode of everything and I'm reaching out and I'm pitching, that is how I stay consistent and that's how I get new clients.
All right, thank you for that. We have a mic over here, so if you have questions from the audience, you just raise your hand. We're going to make sure to come around. Dijon, you could continue, but if you have a question in the audience, we have a mic moving around. Dijon?
Speaking of that word consistency, is consistency really a talent or is it a habit?
Definitely a habit.
How do you say that?
Because you have to keep going with it. You have to make it a regular part of your routine for you to be consistent in something. And again, like I said, I'm in cruise control currently, but my cruise control looks very different from somebody else's. Like what somebody takes a lot of time to work up to, I've been doing this for over 15 years. So all of these things that was hard to me at one point just feel normal because of consistency.
Just want to touch on that stuff that's really hard to get through. There's a lot of challenges in any career. Challenges is really like where the learning starts. So a question for Mr. Washington, right? What challenges have you faced in this field and how did you push through them?
Listen, I think one of the greatest challenges in this field will be understanding the marketplace that you're in and the cyclicalities of that. And what do I mean by that? I think that the various trends that take place in the entertainment space, you need to be very aware of, but you also need to be very aware of how does that affect the bottom line for various entities and corporations, and understanding that the entertainment is an entertainment business. And so for me, I think a lot of the longevity has absolutely around the discipline factor of being in this business, but also understanding the marketplace that your work and your craft is actually in. And so the greatest challenges is one being, for me personally, is being my authentic self and providing content that at times could be very challenging politically due to the cyclicalities of the political market that we are engaged in. And I think ultimately, too, you have to pay attention to there's a lot of consolidation that's happening with corporations right now. And so how does that affect the bottom line, too? And I think that paying attention, developing relationships is extremely, extremely important. But I will also say that the beauty of a lot of that, what we are doing, is that we are living in the digital revolution that's taking place. I've been fortunate enough to be, I shared with someone earlier, the first documentary that I did was about reentry, a reentry program that took place at Medgar Evers that had a college program at Rikers Island. And that was before high definition cameras. Right? And so one of the biggest challenges was that we had these big lumpy cameras at Rikers, and they was like, you can't do this, and things of that nature, where somebody right now worked on a project that was taped, film that was taped clearly on its phone and then won at a major film festival. And so how do we take advantage of what was once a economical barrier, because some of us just didn't have enough money to be able to go into these film studios to develop the actual films. Now we are living in a digital revolution that's taking place that is actually creating a pathway for us to express ourselves with something that we need every day. And so the challenge is to, one, stay deeply connected to what's happening in that marketplace, stay deeply aware of the technological changes and evolutions that's taking place, but also maintaining who you are authentically. And so I think that for us who, are doing this to express ourselves artistically, but also are doing this to feed our family too, it's extremely important to keep your ears to the ground. I personally believe, and I teach in academia, but the best universities that you can go to right now is YouTube University. And I'm super serious about this. Things that you need to learn, to grow, some of these tutorials that are readily available online, you are a fool to not be taking advantage of it. And I say this all the time. I produce a show, a syndicated show, and at times I'm editing on my couch in my pajamas. And that's because of the digital revolution that's taken place. And so there's challenges, but there's also solutions for those challenges. And a lot of that is due to the technological freedom that we have right at this particular moment.
So I just have a question real quick. Hi, guys. I'm Councilmember Stevens, and you know how I get. Hi, guys. I just have a real quick question, just especially because there's so many young people in the room. I think it's important that we also talk a little bit about what does mentorship look like for each of you in your fields currently, and how are you building the bench for the next generation? Because I think it's so important that we're not the only ones in these spaces. And for me, it's so important. I think it's important for the young people to hear what you're doing, and also how can they connect with you so that they can continue to do this work with you. So we'd love to hear that pitch. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes. I'll go. Part of what I do is literally that, so for me, I do a lot of work with interns. And so part of what I do is also onboarding college students to be able to have opportunities where they can be able to go through all different forms of production. So you might have some interns who are videographer interns. We got some reporter interns. We got some of them right now sitting watching us right now. And then we also have some interns who might do editing. Then you have interns who might be a studio intern. So we have various interns that we provide at Bronxnet where students that come in through different semesters. We have a fall semester, we have a summer semester, and we have a spring semester where they can be able to apply, and they can go to our website at bronxnet.org /education. And so they can be able to have those opportunities where they can apply and come through and learn a lot of stuff. Then we have our high school internships. And with our high school internships, I typically facilitate that myself, where I'm able to work with high school students personally, and we're able to conceptualize different things concerning what type of vision would you have if you was to do a show for kids, for students, right, to learn. We do this show called Edulution, and some of the creativity that comes out of these high school students are amazing, where they're able to learn and they're able to grow with one another. They're able to do sometimes lessons, skits. They're able to do, interviews with one another about certain topics and topics that are important in the community. So, part of the mentorship aspect is learning what the students need, learning what their skills are, learning what they value the most. And it's not just doing the work with the students, it's also sometimes you need to have conversations with the students, see where their mind is, see what they need, see who they are and where they come from, because a lot of them come from different backgrounds, and all of them have a different need and have different things that they may find important. So it's building a relationship and a rapport with students. So I believe that's part of the mentorship aspect, like not just treating them just like another number, but also being able to help them and see where their head is, and also help them in a space where they may need personally.
Amazing. We spoke about challenges, right? What were your biggest successes, Mr. Shane? Your mic.
So my biggest success, I think, was my family, first and foremost, being able to provide for my family and my children. And I just want to touch on mentorship a little bit, because I think payment transparency is important when we talk about that, because a lot of people don't really know what you can make, how difficult it is to survive in America, in New York specifically. So my biggest success is being able to provide for my family, and also having a billboard in Times Square. I guess a billboard in Times Square was extremely important to me. I'm from New York. To walk into Times Square and see something that I produced was great. And then payment transparency. So I make over 6 figures at New York University, and with that said, that's paycheck to paycheck. That's still paycheck to paycheck. And with that being paycheck to paycheck, I've had to figure out how to make more money so that I could survive, so that I could get things that I like, so that when my children and anyone says, hey, I want to do this and I want to do that, how can I provide that? So as a freelancer, my minimum to take photos is $275 an hour at the start, and it goes up from there depending on the company and the brand that I'm working with. There has been jobs that I've worked on for 2 hours and I've made $1,200. So payment transparency is very important. And if you want to know more about that, you can also email me at sirshanemiller@gmail.com for anyone that's a photographer and video, anything in the entertainment field, I can help you out.
All right, thank you. That was amazing. I do have one more question.
Yes.
For the sake of time, what if you could give yourself one piece of advice starting out, what would it be?
I would do this. I think the best advice that I did was to start my own business. And the reason why I think that you talked about you hit something I think that is extremely important. I've been working in this space over 25 years, working for myself. And while I think everyone is not gonna, I think there's always an inside-outside strategy. Some of us need to be working in a lot of these major corporations to change that dynamic. And I think also some of us need to be building our own entity in ownership around how do we shape our own content and control the narrative in which we engage this medium in. And so for me personally, I think the best thing that I ever did, and it was actually by accident, one of my first placements was with a particular recording superstar that exists right now. And the first thing that I had to do, was forced to do, this was at a very early age, was I had to start an LLC because the tax, understanding how taxes work, and my attorney was like, well, you just got to start this. And I'm talking about, my first musical placement was at 13. And so that was one of the first things that I did. And then I understood that there's a business component to actually the music business as well. And so for me, I guess the first thing that the major success that I had was starting my own business, and then connecting that to my understanding of what I want to do with this medium and these skill sets. And I know we just end here, and I would just say this: to whom much is given, much is required. And so mentorship is extremely important, but a lot of us are overly mentored and underfunded. And what do I mean by that? A lot of us, we go to these panels and we get a lot of game from a lot of people and a lot of dropping jewels. I think there was a lot of jewels here that was dropped. But I think for a lot of us, what I needed too was direction on credit lines and money access and capital access to be able to start my own business. So I will absolutely love to connect with people, because I think what holds a lot of us back, you talked about what's some of the biggest challenges too. If you look at the data, and I sit on a couple of these boards, if you look at the data, they say that 78% of filmmakers never come out with their film. So there's a lot of people with great ideas that are not coming out with these great ideas. And I do believe a lot of that has to do with the access to capital, the access to information, and the access to those that know how to do things and are gatekeeping how to get these things done. And so mentorship is extremely important, but make sure that you're aligning yourself with somebody that's not just going to give you the game and tell you the great jewels that you need, because we all need that, but it's also going to align you and kind of somewhat hold your hand. At 13 years old, I needed somebody to hold my hand, and I seek mentorship out even to this very day. But I'm not just looking for you to tell me, if you go here, you should be here. I'm also helping you. I'm looking for you to help me say, there's a car that you probably need to take you from here to there, and help me get that car. And so a lot of us are overly mentored, and we are deeply underfunded. And so we need to be in proximity of those that can give you great ideas, that send you in the right way, but that's also may invest in you, invest in your great idea, put money in your pocket, and various other things like that. So, I would just say that it was excellent. They wrapping all of us up, so I'll let you do your thing with that. And but I absolutely, you can check me out. Let's do this. You can check me out on mdmgfilms.com. But we do have a mentor program, and we give out scholarships as well to those seeking untraditional means, and this is one of them, in my opinion. And so you can check that out at 4tecapitalsolutions.com. And would love to connect with everyone. I just have to run back to the studio, but I will give out my phone number, and I know people don't like that, but I'm actually that type of person. So I would love to connect with those that are really serious about how do we truly not just get in this field, but dominate this culture that we absolutely are responsible for.
Mr. Shane?
I don't want to get they got the phone, they got the cameras there, but
don't worry, we're gonna make sure that your contact, if you registered for this event, we're gonna have a follow-up where you'll have contacts for all of the speakers. Mr. Shane Miller?
Oh, Shane Miller. My website is sirshanemiller.com. So if you want to check anything out, you could go there, and I have contact information there as well.
Hello, Benaya Ward. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me through my email at Bronxnet, Benaya@bronxnet.org. That's BENAYA AIAH@bronxnet.org. And then also you can go to our website, which is Bronxnet/careers if you want to sign up, apply for our internships. You said question.
Thank you, everybody. This has been the media panel. I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to sit down with everybody. Like, little did I know how much work really went into making these pieces of entertainment. And from growing up, I never even thought, like, teams were around, mentorships were around. Like, I'm just glad to be here. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, let's give a round of applause.
Excellent job, Deshaun.
Hey, make some noise for the youth moderator, Deshaun Weller, doing an amazing job. Big shout out to Tyreek Washington, Mr. Shane Miller, and Benaiah War. Hey, guess what? These guys are also going to be getting citations from New York State Assembly Member Chantel Jackson. So I'm going to ask our panelists to come over by the photo booth so that way you guys can take a picture there. Let's give them another round of applause. Make noise. Yes, we're going to ask the next panelists to start coming forward. In the meantime, while that's happening, contact information will be shared. So we want the panelists who just finished to be able to go over and take that picture. Tajay, you can play some music as the other panelists are coming to the front at this time. We're about to get into content creation, and we have an awesome moderator who's going to be leading this. By the way, over by Councilman Kevin Riley's table, there is a raffle going on, so you make sure to get that so you can partake in the raffle. But to lead us in the second panel is a young lady who's doing some amazing things. We are so glad to have her here to moderate this panel right here, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're paying attention. Give a round of applause to Kevon. Make some noise right now.
Hi, everyone. Hi. I am so happy to be here with you guys and to moderate this panel with some amazing creatives here. If anyone is, clearly on their phone, you are used to social media, right? You're used to content creation. And these people here are going to give us the tools and strategy needed to be successful on every platform, okay? So before we get started, I'm going to introduce myself. Just like he said, my name is Kevon. I am a content manager myself. I have an agency called P91. I also work with ABC and Deja Vu in the morning, if you guys know WBLS. So I do that too as well. So hearing these things and working with these great people right now, I already know that there's going to be some great insights. So if you have your notebooks, let's get to writing. If you have your phones, let's get to recording, because it's going to be great.
It's going to be absolutely amazing. But because our borough president has to leave, she wants to just give a few remarks before she goes. And so I bring to the stage the one, the only, the Bronx Borough President, Vanessa L. Gibson. Say hi to the people.
Hey everyone, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Bronx Community College. So grateful to have everyone here. We're all gonna join the wave. I wanna acknowledge the president here, Dr. Larry Johnson, and certainly David Levers for always opening their doors to us here at BCC. And welcome to this incredible opportunity to focus on young people and entrepreneurs and building career pathways. This Next Wave Career Summit is so important during this moment. And as Borough President, let me acknowledge all of our sponsors. Let me salute our own Assemblywoman Chantel Jackson of District 79. You see her on Instagram, traveling around the South Bronx, picking up garbage, cleaning streets, riding her bike. That's what she does. She even has makeup sessions too. If you watch her, she shows you how to apply makeup, ladies. Yes, she does. And I want to say thank you to my sister, Councilmember Althea Stevens, District 16, supporting our youth all across the city of New York as a member of the council, and acknowledging the office of Congressman Richie Torres. Thank you for your support. The Estella Diggs Democratic Club. Shout out to Docs who's here. We always want to salute opportunities to work collaboratively together. To every panelist that is a part of today's summit, Thank you for your expertise, for your insight, for your experiences, for your stories, for your testimonies, for your wisdom, for everything that you are providing today. Dr. Sherman Brown, the amazing work you are doing with Aim High, we appreciate you. And Dr. Brown and I go way, way back, but what I appreciate about Sherman is that he shows up for young people. And for all of us, we need to show up for young people like never before. Did you all see earlier this week, there was a large crowd of young people that gathered at the mall at Bay Plaza. Can you imagine all of that energy in this space today? Can you imagine all of us talking to young people about robotics and coding and IA and science, technology, engineering, architecture, math, entrepreneurial opportunities, web design? Can you imagine using the world of gaming as a career concept? That's what today's Career Summit is about. It's about opening doors. It's about options. It is about choices, right? And so every participant today, I want you to take advantage of all of the content that you are hearing from each of our panels. It can help propel you. You may not have every answer right now on what career pathway you want, but understand that this is an opportunity. It is to add more tools in what I say, the career toolbox, right? Shouting out Gina Williams, who's here. We appreciate you. She is the Bronx representative for Public Advocate Jamani Williams. And we have a lot to really appreciate. This collaboration, this partnership is about building young leaders of today and tomorrow. We often say young people are the leaders of tomorrow. No, you are the leaders of today. Right now. You are the right now. And no matter what, you are worthy, you are sufficient, and you are uniquely designed. You are uniquely qualified to do whatever you want to do. And our job as leaders and advocates running non-for-profits, elected officers, career pathways are your choices, right? And so we want to make sure that we do any and everything we can to give you those options so that your dreams can come true. I am reminded that this is Black History Month. It's the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. So I just want you all to know that by choosing you, choosing your future, choosing your pathway is fulfilling Black History Month every single day. So I encourage you to take advantage of all of the content you get today. Very best wishes and very best of luck to all of you. And once again, to every sponsor, thank you for pouring into our children in the Bronx. You are our young people and you are our babies. And it's our job to take care of you. And finally, Chantel Jackson, we love you. God bless you and your team. And thank you for bringing us together today on this occasion. God bless you all. Very best of luck. And thank you to our moderators. Thank you.
Big shout out to Board President Vanessa Gibson. Let's give her another round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Black history right here in person. I'm going to turn it back over to Kayvon to lead and moderate this panel. Let's give Kayvon another round of applause.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, so let's get into this panel because I know that we are a little short on time. Are you guys excited? Are you guys ready? I don't know if y'all know, but I am a professional yapper. I love to talk. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get all the tea, all the business when it comes to content creation, okay? So each of you have built something very unique and special. So whether it's a brand, it's a platform, it's a movement, or just looking back, I want to ask all of you really, really quickly. And when I ask, I want you to just quickly give your name and who you are. But I want to ask, looking back, what inspired you to start creating and what kept you going when it got challenging? And I'll start with you, Cottrell. Oh, you have to put your mics on.
Oh, I was going to say ladies first since I was, but please, if y'all wanted to go first.
Can you guys hear me?
I try to be.
No, it's not working. Here you go. It's okay. I'll use yours, yeah. All right. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Hi. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Hi guys, my name is Maya Beatrice. I'm a full-time, basically YouTuber, but I guess content creator, influencer, whatever you want to use the term. And you asked what inspired me to get started.
Yes.
I grew up watching YouTube. I feel like a lot of other Gen Zers, all I watched was like DDG and like Emma Chamberlain and all the people, and I would watch them every single day. And I think just seeing that they could create a life for themselves and a business and just entertain people through a camera and their phone and social media was just really inspiring. So I wanted to do that also.
Awesome.
Yes, hello. My name is Gabby Babson, based here in New York, Harlem specifically. And I started by way of social media management. I was managing a bunch of different creator accounts, and that was kind of how I ended up investing in more of my creative interests. But I am a co-founder of a talent development agency, and I am also a creative strategist for talent management brands and other creators. I think what inspires me to keep going is remembering my why. I am someone who is very motivated by my own community, so a lot of the work that I do is embedded in my passion to see people like me thrive. Black and brown creators, I think that we lead a lot of the charge culturally. A lot of these trends that people are profiting off of, we created that from the ground up. And so I'm passionate about giving a voice to those spaces and allowing creators to use their own language to tell their stories as authentically as they can.
Luckily, this is my best friend, so I could be all up on her like this. My name is Athena. I'm the other co-founder of our talent development agency called First Pitch. Oh, thank you. And I'm also a talent manager. And what keeps me going is I started in influencer marketing back in 2019 kind of by accident. And luckily, I fell in love with it. And this is my way to give back to my community. There's so much money in this industry. It's projected to be $1 billion industry. And so using my tools and my insight and the connections that I have to give back to the creators that look like me, are from my communities, and help them learn how they can also become millionaires in this industry and how to strategize with them and make sure that they're advocating for themselves. And also doing this with my best friend is a big motivator for me as well. It keeps us both accountable, and you know, starting something on your own is very challenging, but having to do it alone is the best part.
That's why I wanted to follow after y'all. My name's Cottrell Lewis. I am a principal. It just means I'm a lobbyist at a lobbying firm here in New York State. I focus on New York policy, so I'm a fake creator. I'm not like y'all, but I'm a real-time lobbyist. So I'm generally working with Member Jackson in Albany to write the legislation that is going to govern what this field looks like in the next few years.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So thank you all for being here. So Maya, I just want to turn the question over to you. And the question is, what's one word that describes your creator journey so far? And when was the moment that you realized, like, hey, people are actually like watching my videos. People are really invested in the things that I'm posting. So what was that moment, or when was that moment? Like, when did you get that realization?
I would say one word that describes my creator journey is definitely either trust or confidence. I think that this is an industry, if you want to be a creator, you can have no self-doubt. And I went into this when I was 18, so 6 years ago, and I just told my parents, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a YouTuber. Like, they were like, okay, but go to college. And I was like, yeah, but I'm also going to be a YouTuber. And like, you couldn't tell me otherwise. And I was just very confident. And like, that confidence meant that it could not fail. And it hasn't failed, knock on wood. So that's the word. And then when did I realize that people were invested? Honestly, my dad came home one day, and then he was like, when he was standing on the train, a girl came up to him and was like, oh, you're Maya's dad from Maya's Vlogs. And I was like, oh. And I think that was the moment where I realized, like, real people watch my videos, because I think when you post on the internet, it can feel like kind of just like a wall, and it doesn't feel like real people are really on the other side. I feel like I kind of just post to avoid, but it's those moments when people come up to me in person and they say like, oh, I bought this because of you, I went here because of you, or I just watch you to feel comfortable, and I get that like face to face. I feel like that's when I really can understand.
I think that's an absolute blessing. I think that when you're able to sometimes get a reminder of your hard work, when people are able to come up to you, I think that could be something that pushes you on. So that's amazing, Maya. So Athena, I'm coming over to you. I know that you worked across social media management and brand strategy. So what's one tip that you would give to us and me? One tip for juggling creativity and business without burning out?
Yes, I would say the practical tip is probably giving yourself like an admin day. So if your zone of genius is the creativity and you love to do the scripts and you love making the actual content and all those things and connecting with your community, but doing the invoices and having to write out the concepts and that stuff is not fun for you, possibly allocating like an admin day so that way you know 4 days out of the week you're having fun and doing what you love, and that one day you got to sit down and be a real adult. And I think a more like energy tip is really knowing what your purpose is. I think like for me, while I'm not a traditional creator, there's a lot of stuff with having a business that is not the most fun, and reminding yourself of your purpose and why you're doing it and how important those steps are helps keep you going, really.
I hope everyone is writing these things down, because a lot of creators, yes, the fame and the fortune sounds great, but people do burn out. And I think it's very important that you do take a day to get the hard things done. I always tell people to do the opposite of how you feel. A lot of times we want to create, but you have to take those moments to get the business things down, the taxes down. I know how many of y'all filed y'all taxes in here? Everybody filed y'all taxes? Adults? Right. So listen, you have to take those days to get the administrative things down, the important things down, the business things down. So going over to you, Gabby, building a successful brand takes more than just posting, of course. So what's one smart strategy that young creators can use to grow their audience while protecting their content and different opportunities?
Yeah. Community is more than just building online. So finding ways to build community outside of just your online platforms. I think some of us kind of underestimate how many great creators and creatives there are just sitting next to us. And it's really easy to think that, you know, unless you have the huge following or the huge platforms, that no one is really seeing what you're doing, but everybody's watching. There's always someone that's looking up to you in some way, shape, or form. So it does pay to be able to create community outside of just creating content online. So whether that means you're going to events in person instead of just, you know, creating the content from your room and, you know, waiting for those views to come in, there are ways to build beyond the internet. And I think that the more cognizant you are of that, especially when you're young, I feel like there's so many different after school programs and, like, you know, friends that you have that share the same hobbies, if you ask and you speak up, that are willing to do the work with you. So I think the more audacious you are, the more confident you are. I know Maya kind of spoke to that a little bit, but just being willing to speak up on the things that you genuinely enjoy and finding other people to join you in that joyride. I
think that's awesome. I will say, I teach a podcast club to an elementary school in the Bronx, PS 58. Shout out to Dr. Sivers, who brought me along her team, and I teach that every Saturday. But it was the children. These are elementary school students that's saying, we want to learn how to create videos. How can we do that? And because the students, I'm talking 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, advocated for themselves, they were able to bring in me and my team in every Saturday to teach them how to edit, how to use CapCut, how to use an Osmo, how to use mics, how to use all of these things that you guys are getting raffled out for free. So I think that everything that she said as far as advocating is important. You need to advocate for what you want, build your community, and like pull on that. But going over to you, Cottrell, my next question is for you. So with your work in both the city, state, and federal legislature, can you share how you think content creators and different agencies should work with the government? And this is a double question. What can lobbyists currently do to support this growing field?
So I'll take the first question first, of course, right? So often nobody knows what the government does, right? So we know what the mayor does and we know what Member Jackson does sometimes. But We don't know what some of the agencies do. We don't know often how many state agencies there are, how many city agencies there are, how many federal agencies there are, and how much marketing money the government actually spends to tell people what they do, and no one still knows what they do. And what the government can do is open up that marketing dollars to creators who are actually meeting people, connecting with people, millions of people, which I can go to any agency and tell you that their Department of Communications is probably not reaching half of Member Jackson's district. But if one of these creators posted something, it will probably go viral, right? So that's one thing I think the government needs to change, is only putting it on a bus stop and thinking that people are going to see it.
Right.
Right? Like that's just stupid. It is stupid. On the lobbyist side, look, we support our clients. And if there is a world where content creators got together and actually structured what the world should look like for content creators, then I can't speak for every lobbyist. I can speak for this lobbyist. I fight hard for my clients in Albany. And part of that is going forward, what does the next issue that's going to go in front of the courts, how will content creators be in the middle of that? Is it going to be friendly to them because the legislation is what it is, or is it something that they are looking at that is already outdated? And has legislation kept up to the world that we are in today? And I think that's what needs to change. We need to look at what the legislation is, because at the end of the day, people say, well, that's the law. Legislation is just law before it becomes law, right? So legislation needs to change. It needs to be more friendly to content creators so they can be able to do their work so people don't steal it and say, well, the law doesn't allow for you to be protected.
I think that's a huge thing. I have a lot of content creator friends who has dealt with some things being stolen, and unfortunately has had like nothing could have been done because of the law. Like there's nothing that's standing for them. So I think that that's a huge thing, and that's something that needs to be honestly taught to a lot of content creation or content creators. I'm sorry.
I always welcome anybody to come to Albany in January. It's beautiful. It's cold.
Cold.
But me and Member Jackson would love to see you up there.
Amen. Okay, well, this is a question for everyone. The question is, if platforms and brands are not fair, which we see that often, there's a lot of DEI issues happening right now, but if platforms and brands aren't fair, how can creators use their voice to push for better deals to protect their work? And I guess I'll start with you, Maya.
To be fully transparent, you just gotta, like, at the end of the day, there are brands that are publicly pulling DEI, but working in social media, the optics just aren't great if you have a full campaign and it's all the same size people, the same skin color people, the same hair textured people, and you can say that, and you can make your rate a lot higher because of that, because you are their token diversity and they need you for their optics, and kind of understanding that you could utilize that a lot to your benefit, and don't take that for granted. Don't think that there's a room that you can't push yourself into, and know that you deserve to be there and that you are worth a lot more. Even if they don't think you are, tell them, like, no, you need me because you will look crazy if you don't have me. So, yeah.
Can I add?
Gabby?
Yeah, I'm gonna add here. I don't know if how many content creators are there in this room? Can you raise your hand? Cool. So there's a content creator, her name is Gloria. I don't know if anybody's familiar with her, but she created an entire platform off of calling out brands who weren't catering to darker skin tones, darker complexions. And every single time she spoke up, so many people were in the comments engaging with her, saying, yeah, you know what, that's right. To the point where she got so many beauty brands to create shades that complement darker skin tones. That is the power of like having a community that like really rides for you. Now, if you are someone who is not comfortable speaking out on your own, that's why I brought that earlier mention about like building community right next to you. Come up with a plan. Like, you don't have to go out on a limb and speak on your own. Come up with a plan with the people that are sitting beside you. Hey, I'm passionate about this. I feel like this should change. Let's talk about a way that we can build out a content series around just this one thing, this one issue that we feel so passionate about. Because again, to the point of like optics, people are watching. And if you end up getting 1 million views on that one video where you guys talked about that issue that you care so passionately about, they have no choice but to listen. So I would say, you know, lean into the power of your voice. Like, I know it sounds so like corny to say sometimes when you're thinking about how you're building from the ground up because you're only one person, but you'd be amazed how many people are willing to ride with you when you are vocal about the things that you're passionate about, and you're also taking action to see those things come into fruition. So that's my point.
I would also add, to piggyback off of what you said, Gabby, building with people in real life and not only on the internet. There's so much power in having a community that you can prove is behind you and will show up for you beyond just a like and a share and a repost. I would also say that there's like a big shift in the industry that are focusing on smaller creators, and those smaller creators either having an expertise or a strong community behind them is really impactful, especially now. And also, not being afraid to, like they said, long ago are the days where you can like be super neutral on every cause on your platform. You have to stand for something, and whatever that is, choose what it is and choose how you decide to speak on it and what you're comfortable with. But also long are the days where brands can hide behind what they're really doing behind the scenes and pulling back on DEI and things like that. And I would also say, like, don't be afraid to ask the questions online as well. There's so much information out there. There's so many people who have behind the scenes knowledge on this industry. There's so many creators who will say, like, this same brand paid me X amount of dollars, don't accept less. You know, don't be afraid to reach out to creators or post it online and say, like, I'm in this predicament, does anyone have any advice? There was also another creator recently who posted about something that happened to her going to an event and having to be sent someplace else in a back alley where she couldn't be on the red carpet with everybody else, and she posted that online. And it's a risk because brands are your partners and a lot of revenue comes from that, but there's so much, you'll be surprised, especially now, how many creators and other brands and people who are the actual decision makers in this industry that will ride for you and show up for you and do what they can if they're the right partners for you.
That was a great answer. Yesterday I had the opportunity to go to Disney, and ABC they had an event called The Power of Joy with a bunch of, you know, Black creators to honor Black History Month. And Sunny Holston, who's on The View, I love her, she actually shared a quick testimony about how when she first got her contract for The View, the money looked amazing. The contract was contracting, okay? And she said that while she was excited, she was getting ready to sign this contract that looked good to her. Sherry Shepherd actually called her and said, wait, hold on, girl. Before you sign that contract, does your contract include clothing? Does it include a driver? Does it include all? She went down a whole list, and she realized, wait, hold on. My contract does not include that. And she spoke, she advocated for herself. I think it did something for me to be an advocate for my needs and what I want, especially in this creative industry. People will try to give you what they want to give you, but if you stand on your value and understand who you are, what you can do to create, you have to stand on it. Just like she said, be vocal. These people want you more than you want them. Okay, and never lowball yourself for a company, for an ad. No, stand on what you are creating for. Everyone has their own tools, their own gifts. Stand on what God has given you.
And I wanted to specifically like lean on to the advocacy, right? Because that's what I do. But in a government sense, right? So it's advocating for yourself, but it's also advocating for the industry as a whole, right? So it is, when I think of the role that the government plays in the work that you do, I think of the United States banning TikTok, right? And everybody picking up and saying like, no, that's stupid. But like you should not do that. There are some states that are regulating how minors are used by their parents because that is against their will. There is more and more legislation and regulation that is going to start because the government is always going to be involved. Again, that goes back to you asking about people paying their taxes. The government is always going to be involved, right? You got to pay your taxes. So if you're making money off of your content, the government wants their share. If you are doing anything on social media, the government is going to be looking at it. You know, there's things that, again, people are subway surfing in New York City. The government is looking at it to see who is subway surfing, where they are subway surfing, what tracks they are on, because we can then see where we should, you know, put those resources. And it should be the same opposite way. Going up to Albany or going to DC or going wherever, as content creators, hundreds of y'all going up to Albany, that's millions of people actually going through who are watching you. And I don't know all the issues, right? I don't know what issue breaks the creative world that you're like, this regulation needs to change or this taxation needs to change. But if you took that to Albany and actually mobilized each other, that's actually, you know, using the advocacy not just amongst each other, but to the government that has so much regulation over you.
I think we need to take a trip up to Albany, y'all. What y'all think? I think we do.
Can I add a point here?
In the code,
Yes,
though.
yes,
in the
of
code.
course.
To that point, this is also why it is so important to make sure that you are saving your work as well. Finding ways to build not just on one platform, but if you're passionate about speaking and like writing and telling stories, Substack is a really great platform that a lot of people are putting their work on now, especially when we're thinking about building community outside of just Instagram and TikTok. Some people want to hear you speak in depth about these things. And as the government continues to watch you, you want to make sure that you are creating multiple funnels of income for yourself. So just Instagram and TikTok might not do it. Maybe now you have to think about YouTube and YouTube Shorts, Substack. I know even from Substack, people are now going to Beehive. There are other ways to build beyond just the one platform. And so as we continue to give ourselves options, because we know the government is watching and there are a lot of different things that like kind of start to infiltrate the way that we're even creating our content, you just want to make sure that you're giving yourself more than just one platform, more than just one option. Yeah, I just want to add that because I think sometimes people forget that the content is also yours to keep. So if you're not saving it, then it's out there in the ether and you'll never see it again, and now all your work is gone.
Absolutely. Listen, it is your content to keep. Okay, so this is the next question. I'm going to throw it to you, Athena. But then also, I think I'm going to, because you guys have your agency together, so I'm going to just ask you guys both this. Because you've worked with different brands and talent, what's one red flag that creators should watch for when companies approach them for partnerships?
I'll give one, again, practical red flag that's in your contracts, and that is the word perpetuity. Don't ever sign anything in perpetuity. That means forever. That means they would own it forever. They can do whatever with it. They can sell it to another company and put it on a billboard in Times Square, and you will get the same $12 you got when you first signed the contract. So never, ever, ever sign away your content in perpetuity unless you're going to be getting paid forever for it. That's the biggest contract red flag to watch out for. I would say in terms of just as you're continuing to build your brand, check yourself to make sure that you're not signing yourself up for opportunities that do not align with you. I always encourage creators, all the creators I work with and that we work with through First Pitch, our agency, is to really gut check what your purpose is in your platform and make sure that your opportunities are always aligning with that. It can get really easy to see the fancy brands in your inbox and now you're signing yourself up for something that, one, your community is not going to be interested in, and then you're going to bite yourself in the foot, and also that you're not interested in, and then you find yourself down a path where you look back and you hate creating content because you've strayed so far from your original purpose. So just the red flag in yourself to not ever lose sight of why you started this and what you truly want to gain out of it. I'm going to add a point here.
Yes, please. Also, did you guys write down that word? Say it again one more time.
In perpetuity.
Perpetuity. Perpetuity.
In
yes.
perpetuity.
In perpetuity. Yeah.
Not one word.
Okay.
In and perpetuity. Whenever you see
you gotta
something,
make sure you got that word down.
Yeah. Control F. Search for it. And yeah, every time because it's a problem.
Perfect. Yes, Gabby.
Yeah. Also, you know, we all know how to read, we all know how to do our research. Please do your research on some of these brands before you start to work with them. There are so many popular brands that like would have been a dream brand for a lot of people a long time ago, but are now like not the one because they decided to pull back on DEI and that's something that someone might be passionate about, or they decided to divest in one area that someone else is passionate about. Like, do your research before you get excited about working with a brand that might not align with your core values. Know your why, write down your non-negotiables, and make sure that you are not wavering about those things. Yeah, I think
if I want to just say about perpetuity, is there anybody who do real estate here? In real estate?
Interested
In perpetuity is illegal. In real estate, the most that they can do is 99 years. So again, it goes back to government. Real estate is one of the biggest industries in New York State. So if you talk to anybody that is in real estate, they'll say, I can do a 99-year lease, and that's it. Because perpetuity in New York State is supposed to be illegal. But they have contracts for you that is supposed to be in perpetuity.
Wow, isn't that something? So I want to give the opportunity to allow the audience to ask some questions. So I'm just going to ask you all one last question. And the question is for students or anyone just trying to get started within this room, what advice would you give to them taking that first step, especially when you don't have all of the resources or the experience just yet? I can start with you, Athena, and we'll work our way down.
For anyone who's just getting started in content creation specifically, it's like so corny, but really just start. There's so many platforms to choose from. You don't have to start on every one today. But for me, because we started this agency, being a form of a content creator is required no matter what you're doing these days. I cringe at it myself, and so the way I got started is my TikTok is a very unserious place, and I just post whatever I feel like on there, and that's the way I've gotten myself comfortable in front of the camera and just posting the things that I'm interested in outside of my job. And so you have to just start, and there's like, you know, so many versions of equipment that you can get. You really don't need much, but if you want to get the little mini mics, they're very affordable options. If you need the Octo Buddy, there's very affordable options. So whatever you need to feel comfortable starting, do that, try that, and slowly ease yourself into it. If you're interested in the business side of it, the management side of it, I would say start working with your friends. You know, there's a lot of creators who hate the admin stuff, who hate pitching themselves, all those things. Start working with those people and seeing what you can create together and how you can support each other. You never know. All it takes is one video and all of a sudden your inbox is full. So, you know, reach out to your favorite friends who are content creators and see what you guys can build together.
And also some of the tools that she just mentioned, y'all, being raffled out today. So make sure you guys are paying attention because the microphone, the tripod, the ring light, all of these things are going to be raffled out today, okay? Gabby.
I'll keep mine quick. Please don't go broke buying all these, like, I'm so serious, buying all these equipment, like the cameras and the flashes, and you literally just need your phone. Get on your phone, record, and post, and see what happens. Like, I think it's an excellent form of advice to start with TikTok, because again, TikTok loves like just miscellaneous content. Anything on there can go viral as long as you're saying something that is either entertaining or is something that no one's thought about before. So please just don't spend your last trying to make sure that you have the perfect lighting, because you won't get it at the first time.
We're gonna get to the questions. I'm just gonna let them run through, okay? And then we can only allow 2 questions, but they will be around afterwards for if anybody wants to come and speak with our panel.
Okay, I'll be really quick too. Find like 3 creators that you love and replicate. Like, who are you watching religiously, and like just like replicate their content, because you'll find how you're unique within that. When I started YouTube, I had 3 YouTubers that I watched: Emma Chamberlain, I don't know if you guys know her, and this creator called Lorray, and I literally looked up how to edit like them. And there were like 10 videos, and I just followed that to a T. That's how I got started, and then I figured out how to go from there. So you have to be on the internet to want to be on the internet. You can't not watch content and want to do content.
I'm not a real content creator, remember? So again, and I'm not a lawyer. Also, I just work at a law firm. But find a lawyer. because that's really important to know what a contract is saying, because once it is signed, it is a contract.
All right, we're taking 2 questions. Again, the folks are going to be here to be able to connect.
Hi, my name is Shalise, and my question was, prior to what you had said before, it was, I wanted to ask, what are some non-negotiables that you stand by? As in, like, doing contracts or content creating or just, collaborating?
I think a non-negotiable for me is if it feels like I have to speak a language other than the one that I do speak. And what I mean by that is like if they're trying to almost like pigeonhole me into a corner about like how they want me to go about their brand. I wonder if there's an example. And honestly, I don't want to take up too much time, so if we could speak after, I would love to kind of talk to you about that. But yeah, definitely wanted to maintain my creative voice whenever I'm working with a brand. I think that that's the easiest thing for me to say when it comes to a non-negotiable. I'll name another one. Another non-negotiable is if I feel like they are trying to pay me beneath what I'm worth. Yep. If I know, I also worked as a talent manager as well, so I was negotiating a lot of deals on behalf of my clients, so I was able to kind of get a firsthand look as to what they were actually paying versus what they wanted to pay. And I think that that's something that you kind of learn with more experience. But yeah, if they pay me under what they feel like I deserve, and then maintaining my creative voice, those are my 2.
I also think, I know there's controversy about AI, but AI is something that could really help if you have questions and you get a contract, like usage rights, exclusivity rights, those are all things that you'll see in your contract. Like a brand can use your face for 60 days or 6 months. And if you go to AI, they already have the Rolodex of data based on your follower count, your metrics, and based on other people's data on like what's kind of industry standard. So I'd say utilize the tools that are free, like absolutely utilize them and just Google everything.
Hey, my name is Ekele, and I'm actually already a content creator, but I had a question about, with the path of content creation, right, like I sort of need money, so I've been wondering, should I like sell my services, because I'm an editor and I create my own content, yeah, but should I be focusing on getting the money, which would be me like selling my services to somebody else, or should I like focus on my own lane?
I think it's both. I think you should, so many content creators also have ebooks or courses or things that they do like that because the key is to have multiple streams of income. And so if selling your services is a way that you can also make more content about those services, you're feeding both, feeding both things. And also there's so many affiliate platforms now. Research the ones that make sense for you and use those, because even the largest content creators are using affiliate platforms. They're not only relying on brand deals. And also I would say YouTube. YouTube is going to be the most long-standing platform for like passive income for creators. And so developing on a platform that is known for its stability at this point and also the monetization that you can have on there, explore all those pathways and see how you can do both at the same time. I mean, the biggest piece about being a creator is you have to kind of be feeding so many things at once.
Look into Stan Store. It's a great platform for selling digital products if that's something that you're interested in.
Perfect. Well, I just want to thank you all for joining us on this content panel. And if anyone has any questions, they will be here. Please go and connect. But I just want to thank you all for sharing so many gems. Do not take it for granted, everyone, okay? Thank you.
Yes, let's give a round of applause to our panel and to our awesome moderator as well. We're going to ask the panel to go over there just to take a picture with your citations that you'll be receiving from the assembly member, so you could do that as well. As we're doing that, we are getting ready to go into lunch, but hold on right there, because the facility that we're in, all of this is possible today for us to use this space because of Bronx Community College. So at this time, we want to make some noise for Bronx Community College. Yes, yes, yes. At this time, we're going to actually just stay seated because we're going to have Dr. J, the president of Bronx Community College. He's going to come forward just to share a few words before we go into lunch and networking, and we're going to tell you how that actually is going to work. Let's give a round of applause to Dr. J.
Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. Certainly, I want to welcome you to our beautiful campus of almost 70 years of being in existence, so we're excited to be here. I want to give a special shout out again to the amazing Assembly Member Chantel Jackson. Please join me in thanking her again. And we also have some amazing leaders. Council Member Althea Stevens, is she's still here? Thank you so much for her support of the work that's happening, and certainly to the offices that are represented here. Congressman Richie Torres's office is here. And of course, we saw our great borough president, Vanessa Gibson, and Councilmember Kevin Riley's team. So thank you so much for being here and the work that you do. So Bronx Community College, as many of you know, we have been a college here on top of a hill for about 70 years, and we're excited to be here. I was named the 7th president of the college a little over 7 months ago, so I'm excited to be here, excited to be in the Bronx, excited to learn as much as I can about how this college can continue to make an impact. And this is such a fitting occasion that we are doing this program during Black History Month, because it is important that we provide those who look like us, those who have similar struggles as us, but also those who have similar potential as us to have the access to the resources that you're learning about here today. So we certainly thank you for being here. Hopefully this will not be your last time. We are a college that have over 40 plus programs, from certificate programs to 2-year programs that lead directly to work, or certainly programs that lead to 4-year colleges and universities. So if you're interested in learning more about the college, please do reach out to us on our website, or there are colleagues that will be circling around as well. But again, this is a great time to explore, to innovate, and while things may be crazy on the outside, we know that as people of color, we have the potential to do anything that we set our minds to do, and that is something that I want to leave you with. So be inspired, continue to do the great work, and as I share with my college all the time, for you and for this great community, the very best is still yet to come. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Let's give another round of applause to Dr. J, Bronx Community College. Thank you for allowing us to be in this space today. So here's what's gonna happen now, guys. We're about to go into lunch and networking. I like to call it lunch and learn. We're moving into our next panel that's gonna be moderated by none other than the one, the only, the amazing, the distinguished Assembly Member Chantel Jackson. Make some noise.
I knew I did right when I picked Sherman to do this. Come on, Sherman. Let's clap it up for Sherman. Bringing the energy. All right, so we are in our 3rd panel. I'm Assembly Member Chantel Jackson, and very excited to host this one for you, because this is the beauty, brand, and creative entrepreneurship. But first things first, I have to say Happy Black History Month, okay, to us. And let's get started. I'm going to actually allow the panelists to introduce themselves. So say your name, say where you're from, what industry you're in, and what training or school you attended to get that industry, to become part of that industry.
Hi, everybody. My name is Candace Idahan. Can y'all hear me? Let me move this a little closer. Okay. My name is Candace Idahan. I went to CUNY City College. That's where I graduated from. I also went to Christine Valmy Nail School for nails, aesthetics, and waxing. The industry I'm in is beauty. I'm also an entrepreneur. Are you going to do intros or should I?
No. So who you are,
okay,
what industry you're in, where you from.
I'm from the boogie down, baby.
Which I learned. This is my friend, I thought she was a Harlem girl.
I'm from the Bronx. I live in Harlem. So I've been in Harlem for a while, but I'll always rep the Bronx.
Gotcha. And then, and her industry is?
Yeah, it's beauty, but I'm in nails and beauty and a little real estate entrepreneurship.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Well done.
Hey guys, I'm Melissa Drulard. I am from Brooklyn. I am a makeup artist and a photographer. I went to Christine Valmy as well, and I got my license in aesthetics and waxing, and I've been doing makeup for about 10 years now.
Nice.
Clap it up,
Clap it up. That's all right.
Don't do that. Good afternoon, guys. How everybody's feeling? Well, my name is Czech. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. My name is Czech. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I'm also in the beauty industry. However, I fall under the barber side of things. And I went to YouTube University, guys. I didn't go to no barber education school. I learned all on my own. Just failing, learning, and adapting. That's pretty much it.
All right, so I'm gonna start with Czech only because he mentioned that he went to YouTube University and that's where I go and learn to do all my makeup. Czech,
Yes.
do you need to be certified, trained, or any classes required to become a master barber? Because I know some people that got their barber
Yes.
license in jail. So
Yes, absolutely. So the proper legal way.
that one keeps tapping out. Okay.
Does this not work?
No, we got you. Hold on. Espérate. We got you.
All right. Hello.
All right. We're going to get it together. I mean, we are giving out microphones. We're going to figure it out.
Oh, hello. All right. I think we're working now.
All right.
So, yes, guys, you do have to be certified to cut hair. There's two ways to go about certification. You can go to school where you'll pay thousands of dollars, and in 6 months you'll graduate and you'll be able to obtain your master barber license, which is going to allow you to own and operate a barbershop. Or for 2 years you get what's called an apprentice license, and you work under the supervision of a master barber. You get paid while you learn, and then after the 2 years you take the master barber test and you will receive your certification there. So I recommend doing one of the two. I did the latter option, so I did the second option. I got the apprenticeship, cut for 2 years, made money, failed, learned, adapted, applied, and now I am where I am as a master barber.
Love it. Melissa, same for you. Is there required certifications?
There is no required certification. I learned on my own as well through YouTube University, but I went to school later on in my career because I knew that in order to advance, in order to go to certain places that I wanted to, like certain rooms that I wanted to be in, I needed a license, and that's what drove me to do so. But you don't necessarily need one. It just gets you further when you do get your license. Like you can go into the union, and there's so many other things.
Got it. And then same thing for you, Candace. What license is required? We're going to get these mics working. What about this one up here?
You got to turn one off and then turn the other one this way.
One at a time? Oh, okay. We're learning.
So for nails, it's kind of similar to barbering, where you can either go to nail school and get your nail license, or you can become an apprentice and work under someone that is licensed in a salon. So that way you're able to work, learn, make money. And then after a year of being an apprentice, you go and take your license test and you become a licensed nail tech. Aesthetics, there's no way around it. You have to go to aesthetic school to get a license. Same thing with waxing. There's no apprenticeship for that either.
Got it. And so I kind of know a little bit of Candace's story, so I'm going to go to Melissa first and ask, well, how did you get started in your field?
I started when I was in college. I went to John Jay and I was studying forensic psychology, and I just knew that I had a passion for all things beauty. So while I was working, I just saved up money and I would practice on my friends, and I was pretty good at it. So from there, once one person knows that you do makeup, you kind of just start doing makeup for everyone. And after a few years, I applied for Sephora, and I worked at Sephora for 5 years. And after I felt like I got everything that I needed to get from Sephora, I opened up my own makeup and photography studio in Dumbo in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Got it. And then Czech. Yeah, I can clap it up. It's okay. Czech, same for you.
Yes, so I would say I started in 2014 at the end of my freshman year at the College of Mount St. Vincent, now known as the University of Mount St. Vincent. Very simply put, I was an athlete, constantly working out, running out of meal money. I wanted to make money, so I started to cut hair. My pride kicked in, and I didn't want to keep asking mommy and daddy for money, which I'm thankful to have, right? But started cutting hair. And like Melissa over here said, once one person knows you do something, everyone's coming. So I started giving out free haircuts for a few years. Not only was I giving out cuts, I was literally cutting people. So
Yikes.
I was failing a lot, okay? Very crooked hairlines, very choppy fades, but that's what comes with it. 11 years later now, I'm proud to say I'm the founder and master barber of my own studio space in the Bronx called Studio Czech. I'm also cutting in Midtown Manhattan, where I used to be for a couple of years on 61st and 3rd. And I dabble in other things as well. I have a beard oil. I have a t-shirt company as well. And I'm also a house music DJ too, so
Nice.
I like to have fun.
All right. Candace, tell the people how you started.
Well, one thing that kind of rings true with all of us is I was in school as well, always loved beauty. That's how I met Chantel while we were in City College. I just didn't know what I wanted to do at that point. I actually started at the University of Maryland, College Park, and then transferred to City College. And I needed a class that was an extra 300 level. It was a Black Studies class. And I was like, well, I'm Black, this should be easy.
Right.
It had no description. And it turned out to be Black business and entrepreneurship. And that's when I created my brand, Bed of Nails, in that class. We had to come up with a real business, make a business plan. And for me, it was like, should I make a shoe salon or a shoe store or a nail salon? And I was like, well, I'm gonna do nails to buy shoes. So that was my thinking. And as the semester went on, I was like, well, I could really do this. I loved beauty. I always got was doing my nails. I went to Catholic school my whole life. So nails were the only way we could express ourselves. And I finished that course, jumped into going to nail school because I knew what I wanted to do. I graduated undergrad, graduated nail school, and just started working in the industry. I did Fashion Week all over the world because my goal was to build my name and my brand. I did Fashion Week, New York, London, Milan, and Paris, and then also decided to do editorial to build connections in the industry. And then I opened my first salon when I was 25 in Harlem.
It was amazing.
Thank you. And I closed that after 5 years and decided to move to Midtown. And now my salon is in Midtown Manhattan. And then I also own 2 salon suite locations there as well. So I have a product line, a nail academy, and my salon suite. So
That's right. So if anyone is looking for a suite, then please check out both Check and I think Candace. Go ahead, Check. You wanted to say something.
I forgot to mention that I was in school as a communications major with a focus in media journalism. I was aspiring to be a news reporter, but I've always had this underlying love for barbering. I don't know how to explain it, but I'd be 8 years old, 7 years old in a chair, just very curious as to what my barber is doing and why he was. So once I kind of saw that opportunity to make money off of something that I genuinely love, I kind of just capitalized, and the rest is history.
I'm glad you said that because my next question was, what were you guys charging when you first started? Not when you were licensed and everything. What were you charging? Because
Nothing.
I know a lot of people want to get to the bag, and I'm all about getting to the bag. But sometimes you have to do free work in order to get your name out there and so people can know you. So what were you charging?
Well, not sometimes you have to do free work. All the time. I still do free work today, depending on who it is.
Right.
I was charging nothing for a few years, and then the summer of 2014, I was cutting my father, my cousins, myself, some of my boys from school. Then I went back to school, and I was charging $2 a shape up, $5 a haircut. You kidding me? These are 90s prices.
90s
but I had to do it. I had to get my name out there, and I had to practice as well. So that's what it comes down to.
Melissa? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Candace.
I was just going to say, I started out doing, while I was in undergrad practicing the nails, just doing it for $5 just because I needed to buy product and just have what I needed. It wasn't really like to charge. It was like, I just want to keep the supplies going and have something there. But on the other side, I did a lot of free events. And like Chuck said, to this day, I still do free events. The way that I look at a free event is if I go somewhere and do something for free and I make a contact or build a relationship, that's a paid job to me.
Amen.
Because every time I've done that, that same person's like, hey, I'm on this job, can you come do it? And now that turned into a paid opportunity. So I never close down a free event, especially if it's in my arena and it makes sense for me. I'm gonna go do it. I'm not gonna try to like, oh, can you give me? No, my job is to go there and build a connection so that that can turn into something paid.
Well said. Melissa, you want to add?
For me, I started off doing everything for free because I was just practicing on my friends and family. And I took it upon myself to reach out to a makeup artist that I knew that was just doing really great things. And I just asked her if I can just follow her around. And so I worked underneath her for a while until I felt like I was confident enough to do the work, like to take on paid gigs on my own. And then I started charging. But for about a year or so, I was just doing makeup for free. I would volunteer. I would do makeup for college fashion shows. I would assist her in like bridal for bridesmaids until I could do it on my own.
That's perfect, because you're leading me into my next question, which is, who had the blueprint? Like, who did you follow to get where you are? Like, I learned a lot on YouTube. Who did you guys follow? Who had the blueprint?
For me, I had Instagram. So of course I had YouTube as well, but I had Instagram, and there was a makeup artist that I would always tell my sister about. And lo and behold, at that time, my sister worked at T-Mobile, and she came into the store, and my sister she's my biggest, like, aside from my best friend that's over there, she's like my #1 fan. So she literally just told the girl, hey, my sister loves your work, and she's trying to be a makeup artist. And she connected with her, and from there, we just started working together. So she's the one that helped.
Shout out to her. Mentorship is so important.
For me, it was a lot of instinct and a lot of making my own connections and knowing where I wanted to go. So I knew that my goal was to have a brand, but I knew I needed to connect the dots to get there, so build a name in the industry and those things. So once I did really well, and I'm sure all of my panelists also could say that putting their all into their work is kind of what gave them the opportunity to get to where they are now. So even in nail school, I worked really, really hard to just be great. I was always polishing my nails. I was always practicing. And my teacher was like, hey, you should look into Fashion Week. Like, you should look into these other opportunities. And that's kind of how the ball got rolling. And once I saw what that was like, I wanted to connect with other editorial manicurists. And I found a few, and I just assisted them. And I just want to touch on, because I feel like so many people now don't want to assist, don't want to have a mentor. They just want to do things on their own. Yes, I had a plan, and I was going from instinct, like, this is what I need to do next. But I was humble enough to say, I need to work with this person. I need to submit my plans and be like, hey, do you need me to carry your kit for you? Like, let me set up your stuff, your station for you. I was there to learn as much as I could. So one of my first opportunities with the celebrity was because my mentor couldn't make the job, and she asked me to go and do Marc Jacobs fashion show. So I got to sit next to him and create because she couldn't make it. So being able to submit and be humble enough to say, I don't know everything. I need to learn from this person because they're a vet in the game. They've been doing it for a while. Of course, make sure they respect you and all those things, but be okay with not being the head or the lead person at day one. You got to learn sometimes a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's so important for us to serve, right? Like, even in my position, you'll see me, I'll pick up something, I'll carry something, I'll be a part of the cleanup crew, because it all works together for the good. And so, just tell me a little bit. Was there somebody who had the blueprint for you, or someone you were following to get started?
Yeah, so I was constantly on Instagram looking at barbers by the name of 360 Jeezy, who's a wave specialist. I'm sure some of my guys out here know of him. Vic Blends, which is a barber who goes around giving free haircuts to kids on the street. I'm sure everyone in here has ran into a video of him. And I do have a mentor. He's a fraternity brother of mine. He's currently in Beverly Hills cutting hair out there. And he gave me the blueprint for everything that I know. And what I've done is I've taken what he's given me and put my own twist to it, right? And just to piggyback off of what they were saying earlier, you got to humble yourself, man. You're never going to be the best person in the room. It's great to believe that. You should believe that. But there's always somebody better than you, right? But it's not a competition. You got to learn. There's always room for opportunity and always room for growth. I can be 70 years old. I can be a master at cutting hair. I can own shops internationally. I'm still going to want to learn, though, right? This passion is always burning. You can't really put a price tag on that either, right? But yeah, I do have my mentor. And ironically enough, one of the barbers that I looked up to, Vic Blends, I gave him a haircut about a month ago. You know what I'm saying? And then that led me to cut basketball player Khalil Ware from the Miami Heat, because I'm networking with other barbers and I'm learning from them. I'm not trying to be better than them. I'm learning, I'm working with them, and I'm growing, because I know you also can never do anything on your own. So every time you hear people say, I did this all on my own, they didn't. And it's okay, but it's okay though. I want y'all to understand it's okay that you can't do anything on your own. Really live with that. And that goes for anything in life, not just work, you know what I'm saying? Literally every facet of life, you cannot do it on your own. So be open to help.
No, you absolutely need people. And if you guys were dropping gems and you say you do a lot of free work, but what's the starting salary? You don't have to tell us your salary, what you bring in, but what's the starting salary for the area and training that you're in? And how much do you know people have made in your industry?
Well, it really depends on the budget that you're trying to satisfied, for lack of a better term. There's barbers who've been in the game for 25 years still charging $30, and then there's people like myself and my mentor who are charging 100 plus for a haircut, right? But it all comes with the experience. See, I said that, and my man over here was like, whoa, $100.
Right. But
And that's
somebody's
fine to
paying
feel,
it.
and that's fine to feel, because when I was in college, $25 was a lot for me for a haircut. But until you get that experience, my brother, you know what I'm saying? You'll definitely have a different reaction, and you are welcome to a free experience from me, by the way. Just for that reaction,
There you
I
go.
got you. Okay, so make sure you
Off
get my
the
number after
reaction,
this.
a free.
But there are barbers who I know that make millions of dollars.
Right.
There's barbers that I know that make thousands of dollars a week. I myself had made thousands of dollars a couple of weeks, you know, but that's not all there is to it. I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the passion. I love what I do. I wake up happy to go to work, and I'm so privileged to say that. And I hope everyone can say the same thing eventually.
Well said. So starting salaries and what you know people can make in your industry.
I just want to kind of piggyback on what Chuck said. Really, the sky's the limit. You get to create the life that you want. And that's honestly what I love about being an entrepreneur. No shade to anybody, but I could never work for someone. I just always enjoyed creating for myself. Like literally the longest job I had was 11 months and I quit. Like I never even made a year anywhere. But for me, being able to create the life that I want is how I decide on what exactly I'm doing and how I'm modeling it. So if your experiences, limit you to, like Chuck said, a $25 haircut, that's where you're gonna live. But if you open your mind and know that this is the kind of life, these are the things I wanna do, these are the clients that I wanna serve, this is the experience I wanna provide, all of that creates your price. So it's not just like, oh, I wanna charge $50 for nails. No, like, what are you providing that you can say, this is what this is worth? There's people who make $30,000 a year doing nails. There's people who make well high into six figures. It really just depends on what kind of business are you going to create. Are you creating a luxury type of salon like my salon is, or are you creating, a regular, let me not say regular, but like
no frills.
No frills, average, type of setup. So like for me, for a client to sit in my salon, not going out to celebrity, my services start at $200. So that's one color, that's solid, that's just to sit with me and do a basic service. I have plenty of clients who pay that. So like Chuck said, it just depends on what type of business, what are you creating? And I also want to say, I didn't start there. Right. So don't wake up and roll out your bed and be like, well, I want to charge. No, like there's integrity that needs to match that as well. So making sure that you can honestly sit there comfortably and say, this is what my price is. 10 years ago, I wasn't charging $200. I was nowhere near there. But I've created a business. I've done a lot. I have a lot of experience. I've taken a lot of courses and classes outside of being in nail school that allow me to say, yeah, this is what I'm charging and this is what my services require.
Thank you. Melissa.
And I just want to piggyback off of what both of you guys said. I think when you think of what you can make, you also have to think of how passionate you are about what you do, because your passion will determine how much money you make. Like if you're passionate about it, you're going to put in the work to be able to even offer services at a certain price. And sometimes that can be monetary. Sometimes it's truly just an experience. Like I try to create an experience with my clients in order for them to come back. I've had clients that I may have started off with one doing her makeup, and now I do makeup for her whole family. Like those are the type of experiences that I try to build and try to foster with my clients, because at the end of the day, your name is everything. So when people value you, they'll pay. You'll be surprised what people will pay just to have you there, because sometimes when I first started, when I worked at Sephora, I remember I had a client come in and she told me a story. She was like, she had a makeup artist that she would work with multiple times during the week, and it wasn't even that he was the greatest makeup artist, it's because she enjoyed the experience that she had with him, so she called him back every single time. So to make sure that you have that passion in what you do, the amount you make is endless, honestly.
Hold on, I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead, Chuck.
We invest in ourselves for you guys. So we are up here charging a luxury price because we're offering upper echelon services, because we want to separate ourselves from the norm and also give you guys that experience, because we didn't grow up with none of that. Mm-hmm. Like I just said, in 2014, 14, I was talking about $25 for a haircut. This guy is crazy. I charge $50 just for a beard trim right now. You understand? I used to charge $80 for that. But it's because we're doing it for you guys. We invest in ourselves for y'all. So just keep that in mind, please.
So
we put in the work. We put in the work
No,
to get
but
here.
you definitely
Just to
got to
wrap
put in
it
the
up.
work in order to charge what you charge, right? And I want you to think about a time where you benefited from networking. I know Candace shared some of her story, and a time where you missed out because you didn't network enough. So think about that. A time where you benefited from networking and a time you missed out because you didn't network enough.
I'm gonna start off with the time where I didn't benefit. It took me a while to even go outside. Like, I'm the type of person, I like to just work and go home, but I'm learning the power of going to events and speaking to people and just putting yourself out there. Like, I really love to be at home, but I understand the connections that I can make. Like, I've met people in certain rooms that have literally opened doors for me that I could not even imagine just by having conversation. Like, I've been able to go on trips with clients just to do makeup, like wake up and do what I love. So the networking part for me was something that I had to really, I'm still having to force myself to do because I'm just such a creature of habit. Like, I'll work and then just go home, work and then go home.
Yeah.
So what I'll share about networking, I think for me, I'm saying like, leave me inside. I don't want to be outside. Okay. But this industry is so small that you do have to connect. You do have to know people because that's really how you build, your clientele, your experience in that. And I think for me, connecting with other nail techs, other people in the industry, just being open to, again, serving, has gotten me, honestly, some of the biggest celebrity clients that I've gotten. Being willing to serve, like, hey, you want me to assist you? I'm already established in my career. I'm where I need to be, but I know this person. They put me on early. They still need help. Me going to help them. And whenever, again, they get jobs or things like that happen and they can't do it, I'm the first person they call. And one of my biggest clients, Naomi Campbell, I got because of that. She called me up and was like, hey, she's looking for somebody that does this specific service. I did that service. She was like, so let me know if you want me to give her your information. And I did Naomi Campbell for like 2 years because of that connection. So I think it's really important to network, but before that, it's really important to remember that you are your brand everywhere you go.
Amen.
There's never a time where I'm not Candace Idahan. So I don't get to show up with an attitude. I don't get to halfway do a job. I'm not gonna put, my cheap polishes in the kit because this job is free. I'm not gonna use my good stuff. No, I have to be who I am at all times because I don't know what opportunity is gonna come. I don't know who's watching me. I don't know what connection might be made there. So you have to always remember that whether you have a store or a company, your name, you are your brand.
Well said. Well said. Check. You want to follow up?
I don't even know how to follow up after that. That was, they kind of both.
Just drop an amen.
They literally just said what I wanted to say. So networking is everything, guys. Through networking, I've been able to cut very important people in the world, from agricultural CEOs across the world to, Vic Blends, to basketball players, to sitting in rooms with top chefs. I mean, it's everything. But don't only limit yourself to networking in your industry. Network with everyone, right? My nail tech, she has just as much as a celebrity clientele as she does too. And because I know her, I'm able to get into doors as well. One of my very good clients, soon to be business partner, has gotten the NBA Commissioner of Africa in my chair. And now I'm about to open a business with him. You understand what I'm saying? And also, I'd love to network with everyone in here. You don't have to be of some status just to be in my Rolodex or vice versa. You know what I mean? Because I don't know where you can be in the next 3 years.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, guys, right, one thing that I've noticed is, what really does help my network grow is the value that I bring to people. I am a necessity for people in this world, just like you guys are for us. You get what I'm saying? So once you understand your value and you stand on business, as we like to say today, right, you will see your network become your net worth, and you will grow gradually. But just know it's not easy, and it's definitely not pretty. So don't go in there with, thinking everything is going to be super easy to accomplish, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
I just wanted to add one thing. for networking, for those of you who are in this room, you guys are privileged because you're living in a time of social media.
That's right.
I can't tell you how many, even for me, clients, celebrity or not, literally slid into my DMs asking me, hey, can you come and do this job this day? Or can I book with you, whatever. DM people, connect with people. Of course, like, be right, like, greet them properly. Just don't ask them for whatever you want to ask them for. Connect with them properly, like use some manners, you know, acknowledge them, find out what they do. Like if I were to reach out to anyone, like I would want to know the name of his barbershop. I would want to know how long he's doing, you know, been cutting hair. Do research, connect with you, find somebody like, hey, I really want to go into this field. This person I've been watching for a while. You'd be surprised. You know, everyone is a regular person. They're on their social media. They're on their Instagram. They might have other people that might respond to you, but they see a lot. So reach out, but make sure you're putting the best foot forward. You're connecting properly. You're being, you know, who you should be, your brand to connect to these people. But don't be shy. Don't, oh, they never responded. Keep going. Connect to someone around them. Do your research, but you can build so many connections just through DMing somebody on Instagram or social media.
Really quick, the only way I was able to cut Vic Blends, and for those who do not know him, look him up, VICBLENDS. I DM'd him 13 times. On the 14th, he hit me back. So just think about that.
Right?
Just think about that persistency.
Persistent,
right?
annoying to somebody else, but he said, I'm going to get that cut. And that's all right. So, Candace, you mentioned social media, and that definitely leads into my next question. I'm wondering what social media platforms are you all utilizing to push yourself forward or to talk about your business? Which one may be profitable if you guys are utilizing it in a way to earn money that way? So anybody utilizing social media?
For me, it's mostly Instagram. Okay. Like, I'm so grateful that I use Instagram. I don't use it as much as I should. I know I should use it more, but for me, word of mouth has been like the most, like the driving factor of my business. Like people really support me, and they'll just refer and keep on referring and referring and referring.
And you are your brand because your makeup is tea.
Thank you.
Okay, what social media platforms you guys utilizing?
Oh, well, damn, you made me feel some type of way. I'm a barber. I don't even got a fresh cut. You know, I thought about that last night, too.
Oh, it's okay.
But I utilize Instagram and occasionally TikTok. I do know that I should take way more advantage of TikTok. My first videos with no followers got 54,000 views. But I'm just not as consistent. I'll be honest with you, it's exhausting because people want to see the artist behind the art, and I'm a man in front of the camera all the time. So, you know, I do my thing every now and then, but it gets exhausting. So stay consistent with that. But Instagram and TikTok are going to be my main mediums that I use.
Got it. I know how Candace feels. Go ahead, Candace.
Instagram is my main platform. I used to be on it all the time. I grew a nice following. But like Vic said, it's a lot. And word of mouth is really my biggest push. I know a lot of people. I connect with a lot of people. So not to say you shouldn't. It's something that I do want to get back into, but yeah, it's a lot, and I don't really have to. So the have to is not there anymore for me, so I don't really utilize it as much, but I am on TikTok as well. TikTok personally to me is an easier growth algorithm, so you grow much faster. So if you guys are new to social, spend your time on TikTok and grow there. You can monetize easily there as well. But I'm on Instagram more, and I do have a TikTok.
Yeah. And so with TikTok, because that's where someone in here told me that his mom found me on TikTok, and that's how he knew to come here. TikTok, they like new users, and so you benefit from starting your first video and putting it out there because they're gonna push it out to more people. And I think when you guys all started Instagram, it was kind of that same thing. The platforms are really changing, and it sounds like most of you guys are using word of mouth as opposed to new age technology per se. Okay. Go ahead, Melissa.
I think with social media just in general and the times that we're in, like I'm a makeup artist and a photographer, but now I have to like be a videographer. Like you have to edit, like you have to do every single job unless you're outsourcing. So you have to just figure it out, like download the apps that'll help you, reach out to the people that can help you, and just use your network. We literally know someone that can do anything you can think of. There's someone that can do it or help you. Just ask for the help.
What apps are you using for editing?
I mostly use CapCut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. You want to say something, Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, once again, hit the nail on the head, right? This is just another opportunity to see that it's not easy. We are every single position a business needs in one person. You understand that? So just keep that in mind. We work hard. And like she said, there's someone in this room that can do everything for all of us. I guarantee you, there's a photographer, there's a videographer, there's someone who's good with numbers, there's someone who's great with marketing, there's someone who could be the face of a company because the CEO just doesn't like to talk in front of people. So we all have some sort of value. It's just about finding your niche and capitalizing on it.
Okay, so Lorraine is telling me, and shout out to Lorraine. She's my state committee woman right here. So shout out to Lorraine. Hey, Lorraine. She's telling me we only have 5 minutes left, and I have like a million questions. So I just need to know. Keep that in mind when I'm asking these things. I am a legislator. I have bills. I need to know from them if these bills make sense to them. They like it. They hate it. So you can say love it or hate it. Okay, first bill requires adequate hand washing facilities and gloves and cosmetology in barbering businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
Love. Okay, they love. Okay, perfect.
I already wear gloves.
You don't wear gloves?
I already wear gloves.
Already wear gloves.
Absolutely.
Okay, now here's my other bill idea. I get my eyebrows done so the lady is right in my face, and I think that they should wear masks when doing facial stuff. What do you guys think?
Yeah. They're supposed to, yeah.
So you're supposed to wear a mask right now? Yeah. So if they're not wearing a mask, what should I do?
Take their license. No, literally.
No, I'm not going to take their license. Hello. Okay, got it.
Do not do anything illegal because when the state knocks on your business, you're done. And it is a very, very tough mountain to climb to get back out.
Okay. What about this bill from Pretlo that stops the sale of chemical hair relaxers to consumers that do not have a cosmetology license? So I think it just says stop. You cannot do relaxers if you don't have a cosmetology license.
I think it's good and bad. Like, it's good because you need to know the signs. You need to know what you're doing. Like, when it comes to hair, like that for me, I didn't get into hair because I don't want to fry anyone's scalp. Like, there's too much that goes into it. With makeup, if someone doesn't like something, you can wipe it off. But with hair, there needs to be like rules set in place.
Now, when it comes to makeup, we do have some bills that would remove certain chemicals or toxins that are in it to keep us safe. Mm-hmm. And so I'll talk to you guys later at a later time about that. But I think it's also important for us to realize that experts, when they come, it's important for us to ask your opinion on these things that we're going to legislate. Has there been a time where legislation has been put in place that impacted your business? I know, Candace, you called me about one of those things. About the air thing?
Absolutely. And even to the relaxer point, I don't necessarily think it should be taken off the shelves. I think people should be responsible and go to licensed cosmetologists. If you at home and you want to play around, that's your business. But going to somebody that's a professional should be your responsibility. And if you go to someone knowing that they're not, then you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Amen.
Exactly.
But licensing, or even with what you're referring to, the dust collector situation that the state decided nail salons required, that was like a blanket thing. I am a gel-only salon. We don't have fumes. There's no smell. So requiring that, and it was thousands of dollars to have to install that, is ridiculous. Like, put that in a salon that's doing acrylic and there's fumes and that stuff everywhere. But to say that everyone, even for a salon that only does manicures, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You want to say something, Melissa, and Chuck?
Yeah, I think you should not sell any sort of hair relaxers to regular unlicensed people for the simple fact there are a lot of chemicals in there, and you're going to end up spending double the money because you got to come back and get it done correctly now. So just make the smarter option and pay someone to do it. This is literally what we're getting paid for. So.
Got it. So I'm going to spend the last 2 minutes talking about you guys. What's next for you all?
I'm in the talks of opening an upper echelon, luxurious membership-only experience in Midtown Manhattan with the partner that I mentioned earlier. We want to pretty much get people to pay monthly to require services monthly, which will range from haircuts, manicures, massages. The location will be able to have a booth to take private calls. We'll have networking events monthly and/or bi-monthly. And so that's at the moment right now.
Okay, Melissa or Candace? What's next?
For me, I just am continuing working with clients, getting more clientele, being able to travel more with my clients. And my goal for this year is to just utilize my studio space a little bit more. I travel out to clients a lot, and I'm not getting the most use out of it. So I want to keep that creative bug in me so I can collaborate with both other makeup artists and photographers, because I do both.
Well said. Candace, what's next?
I want to open more salon suites. Just seeing the way the industry is going, a lot of people want to work by themselves, like barber by themselves, and kind of leave the full-on salon setup. So I do want to open up more salon suites and develop my product line some more. That's something that I really want to work on, because even if I decide like to completely leave nails, that's a legacy that can stay behind of my brand, Bed of Nails.
Well said. And so I don't want you guys to leave without the people knowing how to follow you, where they can find you. Drop all your social media handles, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
So my platform, my name is Candice Idahen, CandiceIdehen on every single platform. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, all of the things, TikTok.
Twitch.
It's my name, Candice Idahen.
For me, on every platform, it's Live Life Melissa. Live Life Melissa on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere is Live Life Melissa.
2 S's or 1 S?
2 S. Live Life Melissa, Melissa. No 2 L's.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at yo.
Wait.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at yo check it, YOCHECIT, and then from there I'll give you my TikTok and whatnot, because I haven't uniformed all the letters, all the names.
Well, I'm Assembly Member Chantel Jackson. You can find me on TikTok at AM Chantel Jackson 79, on Instagram at Chantel Jackson 79. I want to say thank you to our panelists. We have learned, we have grown, we are ready to do our business. Thank you guys again for this amazing conversation.
Thank you for having us, guys. Thank you for having us.
Yes, let's give another round of applause to the moderator, the Assembly Member Chantel Jackson, and to the panelists. Thank you for that. Awesome, awesome. Join the wave. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Join the wave, and you're going to do it with waves in your hair and all kind of places, all right? But give a big shout out. This was the art of business, of beauty and grooming. This is essential, guys. As you guys are learning this information, make sure that you make moves. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Jata. Make noise.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? So before we start, I just want to introduce myself, Jata Brown, Director of Communications and Legislation for the Office of Councilmember Stevens. I'm also the lead founder and creator of Creative Visual Identities, LLC, where I help people build out their business. I do business cards. I do big stuff like that, like marketing materials, helping entrepreneurs start. So not just painting a picture, but also making the brand more personal to who they are. So welcome, everybody. Before we start, let the panelists introduce themselves. So from right to left, go ahead.
First of all, can I get a yeah? Yeah. When I say next, y'all say wave. Next. Wave. Next. Wave. All right. Round of applause to the panelists, to Yacht here, and everybody who woke up this morning happy, smiling, and ready to go. My name is Amaudis Grujong. I'm a creative social entrepreneur based in the Boogie Down Bronx. I am actually a proud alumni of Bronx Community College. Y'all already know. And I currently sit on the board of Bronx Community College as well. I have a brand called Bronx Native. We like to say it's more than a brand, it is a movement. We do a lot of community-based things here in the BX, from fashion events, open mics, food distributions, and making sure that we are represented, making sure our stories are being heard, are being seen, and we outside making it happen. Happy to be here, and happy to be with this incredible panelists here. And let's get it. Can I get a yeah? Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my God, that was so good. Hello, everybody. My name is Denise Koch. My artist name is Dayla Snoop, and I am the proud owner of Snoop Designs. We're a creative agency that I've owned for 15 years, and I actually started when I was in high school, like much of you here today. My trade is graphic design, but I also do digital augmented reality. So if you're into VR, AR, that is the world that I'm in, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I am from Queens, but I lived out here. My family's from Uptown. I lived in Co-op City for a little bit. So I do know the Bronx. My grandma's out here. We're Jamaican, all that stuff. So I'm so blessed to be here today. Thank you guys for inviting me, and I'm excited to sit on this panel with y'all.
Hello, 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 beautiful people. I'm just happy to be here, and these guys, I feel so good to be amongst these people. They're amazing. My name is Muggsy McFly. I'm a designer, 13 years. I have a brand. I also have a studio, design studio, so I do designing, fashion designing. I've been in this business for 13 years. Simon McFly, McFly Studios, and I'm currently trying to extend the vision. I think I'm leaning a little bit more into my purpose than just fashion and capitalism. I'm about to start a program, should be announced within this week, at the YMCA by me, where I will be teaching fashion and design to teens 13 to 19. So I heard some of you guys' ages that are trying to come into the business. I'm not one of those people that tell you follow me and DM me and I'll answer. I really will answer, and we can make amazing things. So if you see me, come meet me, talk to me, and let's change the world.
Awesome. I'm very excited to be here as well. My name is Christian Lennon. I'm 15 years old, and I started a brand called Imperfectly Perfect Candles, where we create high-quality luxury candles. And I've been able to grow the page to 150,000 followers on Instagram, and thank you, and millions of views. We went viral a few times, and I'm excited to be here. Hopefully, we're all able to learn something new and expand our lives.
Yes. So we got the first questions coming out. So let's talk about how creativity meets technology and culture. So for Denise, you merge fashion, graphic design, and augmented reality into immersive art experiences. How can young creatives start blending technology with art to future-proof their careers?
All right, so yes, I'm an augmented reality designer. I've also done a little bit of work in mixed reality, which is building out online digital platforms, online digital galleries, and I've done a little bit of work with virtual reality. So if any of you guys are into that kind of space, especially if you're into gaming, I would definitely tell you to start getting into a lot of 3D design, so learning about Blender. I'm not a big 3D designer myself, so what I like to do is I like to do 2D. Because my trade is graphic design, I learned about After Effects, which is motion design and animation, and with that, I put it into different AR platforms. So one of the most known ones that I work with is Snapchat. I'm one of their freelancers. I go out, I create lenses, I create filters, I create experiences with them. We've done murals together. But basically what I do is that I take their technology with a little bit of coding, a little bit of animation, and I create filters like that. So for any students who want to do something like that, I definitely tell you guys to download the Lens Creator platform, which is called Lens Studio. You guys will go in there, you will start creating different filters, and you will upload it to your Snapchat profile. The more people that use your profile, the more money you can make, because it is a monetized program. And you just have to be over the age of 13 if that's something that you want to do. Another thing that I do is that I create original artwork. I also draw on my iPad, so I'm a digital artist. So if you are into doing digital arts, you go ahead, you design it, you draw it, you print it out, and then you either frame it or you put it in canvases, and that's how you're able to then put your stuff in galleries. And my work has been featured in galleries and museums across the U.S. and outside the U.S. as well.
Yes, thank you. So augmented reality, luxury candles, streetwear, it might all seem different, but this question is for all of y'all, because all of y'all create experiences through your brands and your products. So how do you turn a product or idea into something that people emotionally feel connected to?
I feel like it's just, we all human. We all have experiences. We all have stories. And I try to not just be a fashion designer or a creative or anything. It's like, I want to extend my story. We might share similarities in our story, or you might just be inspired by my story. Or maybe you want to go out on your story just because of mine. So that's kind of how I put them together.
Thank you.
Yes. No, I definitely want to piggyback from that. Is we are foundationally
storytellers, right? And through our expressions, through our medium, when it comes to fashion, tech, anything, we are telling the story of our people. And I feel like now more than ever in the big 2-6, community is more important than anything, right? To build community, to have that foundation, to have that rock. And we're blending all these things together, you know? And I feel like now you got to do a little more. You got to be the designer, the marketer, you know, the advertisement. Go out there on social media and put yourself out there. But I want to tell all the students here, all the, you know, up and coming entrepreneurs, build that community now more than ever. That's very important. Pick your niche and go at it, and that community will find trust in you. That community will carry you and help you be sustainable and just help you on the journey. So yes, build community, very important.
Thank you. And since we're talking about, oh, sorry.
Yeah, and I'd like to say one thing as well. I feel that building a personal brand is also very important. If people see you actually going out there and hustling, if people see you actually going out there and trying to build your brand, they're more likely to actually go ahead and follow you. And that will make people want to follow your journey and actually be a part of what you're building and support your business and whatnot. So I would say for anybody that's interested in actually building a brand and building a community, build that personal brand, make people believe in you, and then, you know, your business will take off along with your, you know, your brand.
Yes, thank you. I was about to pivot to community, but just to piggyback off of what you're saying. Christian, that's how you pronounce your name, right?
Yeah.
So at 15, you done something that a lot of young black men haven't done at the age of 15, which is to scale a 6-figure audience and build a premium brand. I remember at your age, I probably was selling clothes for extra money and stuff like that, because, you know, we didn't have the same resources and the same mindset as you have today. So what mindset helped shift you to stop thinking like a student and start thinking like a CEO at the age of 15?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I feel that, you know, I want to share a little bit about my past. I was actually suspended over 15 times in middle school, you know, so I was actually a very, very bad student. But then honestly, it was like I was tired of, you know, seeing the look on my mom's face every time that she got a phone call from, you know, my school, and I was tired of seeing that disappointment. And ultimately, you know, that's what altered my whole perspective on my, you know, my actions and whatnot, my behavior. So honestly, it's just about doing better for the people around you, you know, so that's what kind of changed me.
Thank you. And this is for all of you. Have you ever ran into any early doubts or the fact of being underestimated in each of your respective industries, and how did you navigate through that? Go ahead.
Okay, so I've had a lot. My very first one I would think in terms of running my business is that I started off doing a t-shirt brand. And I went away to college. So I went to the University of Bridgeport, which is in Connecticut, and my t-shirt brand was based here in New York. So I trusted one of my quote unquote friends, to take my inventory and sell it for me while I went to college. And I come back a couple months later and he lost everything. And at that time I invested $100 into it. $100 is a lot for a teenager 15 years ago who barely had money. So I would say that at that point I could have just kind of gave up and said, I don't want to do this entrepreneur stuff no more, I'm done. But when I went to college, we actually had a entrepreneur class which taught us about invoicing, estimates, and how to run a proper graphic design company. And because of that, I then started to shift my business. So you're going to hear a lot of us saying pivot. I pivoted a lot, and so I pivoted my career, and that's how I started doing graphic design full time. And then the second one really quickly that I would say is a really big doubt is for me being a black woman. I was always either one or two black women who was in any job that I ever had. Even as recent as my last job before I started doing entrepreneurship full time, I was the only black person, and I lived in California at the time. And so what comes with that is a lot of things. You have microaggressions, you have literal racism that you have to go up against. But because I know I'm good and because I know I deserve to be there, I think that having that mindset also kind of helped propel me in my career. And now I work with people who I want to work with. I feel like I don't have to work with people who make me feel uncomfortable.
Thank you.
Yes, I would say when it comes to the journey, there's always going to be doubts. Sometimes you wake up, you're like, damn, man, I don't want to get up, man. You know, you got to stay motivated. You got to be consistent, right? When I was about to open up my brick and mortar shop. We have a shop on 127 Lincoln Avenue in the South Bronx. It only started as a pop-up shop. We were only supposed to be there for 2 weeks, right? And I remember people used to say, who's gonna keep coming to a shop that only sells Bronx merch? Who's gonna come to your shop? You know what I mean? You don't got it, this and that. And I just, put my hoodie on, still focused, and eliminated that noise and just really put belt to the next part. You already know. and really locked in, And from 2 weeks, we're about to hit 9 years that we've had our brick and mortar shop. It started as a pop-up shop. Thank you. 9 years later, we are a pillar in our community. I would like to say that we are pioneering. We're one of the groups, alongside my fellow panelists, my boy Muggsy McFly, really cultivating the Bronx Renaissance, man, and really prioritizing and championing entrepreneurship, championing creativity, and just our people coming up and getting these W's. So there's always going to be doubts. There's always going to be those haters. There's always going to be those naysayers. But don't listen to that. Stay focused. Put your hoodie, lock in, and just make it happen. Believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself more than anybody out here. So let's make it happen.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you right now, I have doubt every single day. I had doubt waking up this morning. I had doubt when I had to make 192 bags for this event, 24 hours in, then get asked to do stickers and then more stickers. I had to figure it out. I'm going to just tell you, there's no way to avoid doubt. If you're doing something that big and that great, there's going to be doubt. It comes with it. It's hand in hand. You just kind of got to get to a point where you have that space, where you have your community, you have the people that trust. And then best of all, you got to have that internally. You have to have something inside of you that says, yeah, I got this. Coming from a place, I went to St. John University, got my bachelor's of science and everything, 4 years accounting degree, and I got my first job 5 months in, left, hated it. That same summer, I ran into a couple of my friends who were designers, and I never seen anybody my age or look like me that could design. And from there, I taught myself. 2 years later, I became a designer. 13 years later, I'm still a designer. I haven't had a job in 15 years. But I have doubt every single day.
Thank you. Inspirational stories. So, talking about your grind, talking about the hurdles you had to go over. So, one thing that we don't talk about a lot because we live in a social media culture where we only see the highlights. But what about the sleepless nights and the days you got to wake up and you probably got $1 in your account, but you got to make 250 out of it. So what's the most important part about, building your community when it comes to your brand and stuff like that?
I feel like sometimes people forget that, like, those early years, of course you need money, but there's also value. Yep. And when I go to speaking engagements, I always tell them, like, it's funny how you can go start in college and you have 4 years where you don't really need to make money. Same thing with your business. You do need to make money, but you should be thinking those first 2-3 years, value. What am I doing? I have a friend of mine that was in the panel earlier that became my photographer, and it's like he just came to every event, took great pictures, and had the pictures ready in 24 hours, and you can build a value till eventually people book you and they need you. And that's what it is. Like, sometimes when I first started making clothes, I used to go to I actually did a fashion show at University of Bridgeport, funny enough, and at the time I only had my personal samples. So I took things out my closet to show, dry clean, had models wear them, and that's all I had one-on-ones to build my brand before people knew who I was.
No, facts. Climb it up. I would like to say 80-90% of it is showing up. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't want to go to that event. Sometimes you're feeling lazy, this and that. Pick yourself up, go out there, motivate yourself, and really make it happen. To be an entrepreneur, you have to be cut from a different cloth, man. The journey comes with high highs, low lows, and challenging moments, and in those challenges, but you got to love the challenge. I always say you got to be comfortable in your uncomfortability, because that's the only way that you're going to shine bright like a diamond, right? You need to apply pressure, and you need to be through the fire to really go out and hit that goal, right? So I always say, I want all the smoke. I want all the challenges. I want everything to come my way, because I know after those moments, they might be tough, they might be crazy, but after those moments, we will triumph, we will win, we will make it happen, and there's always a light in the end of the tunnel. If you believe in yourself, if you apply pressure, and if you locked in, you're gonna make it happen. So let's get it.
Love that, love that. Can I add one thing? So I also want to add that time is only temporary, right? And what that means is that, the moment of discomfort that you may be experiencing, that moment will pass, and ultimately, if you can get through that moment, you're able to experience a better reality at the end of it. So just always remember, time is only temporary.
Thank you. And just to build off of that, Amadis, because when you do what you do, you don't only just bring your voice into rooms, you bring other voices. You host open mics so people around in the community could have a chance to let their artwork out. So Bronx Native has grown into more than just a brand, as a cultural hub, a movement. So how do you intentionally build a space that not only sells products, but also shifts narratives and empowers the community around you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, from the very start, we knew we were solving a problem, and that problem was that there was really no Bronx-based merchandise making it happen for streetwear and stuff like that, and that was our angle. But from the very beginning, we knew we wanted to be a community-based brand, right? We didn't just want to stick our logo on some merch, put it out there. We wanted to tell the story of the Bronx. We wanted to make sure we were represented accordingly, because for a long time, the Bronx always gets the short end of the stick, right? The Bronx, number 62, the unhealthiest county. We got this, we got these stats, and I'm like, the Bronx is the most beautiful place on earth, all right? Aren't y'all all beautiful here?
Yes, sir.
Aren't we incredible?
Yes, sir.
Aren't we a vibe?
Yes, sir.
Clap it up for yourself real quick. Let's get it. And from the very beginning, we knew that our platform was going to be a community-based brand from our brick and mortar shop. We said we're going to have events on a daily basis, from open mics, workshops, financial literacy events, having the youth come to the shop and learn about entrepreneurship, learn about fashion, learn that somebody that looks like them can actually make it happen and still be in the Bronx. So yeah, that's been a core part of our mission and our story, and it's honestly the most beautiful thing on earth, to represent your people, to go out there and really create a platform by us, for us, a platform that allows people to come together, break bread, express, and really be amongst greatness. You know what I mean? Growing up in the Bronx, I didn't see a lot of spaces that cultivated that, right? And it's places that inspired, empowered. And I said to myself, we are gonna create that space, and it only takes one idea. Then it's time to get to work. Nowadays things are, I feel like the easy part is to start, right? You can go online, get an LLC. You can tap in, you have social media to market yourself. The hard part is the day-to-day grind. It's the hustle, is every day just showing up, making it happen, and being there for your people. Yeah.
Thank you. Denise, this one is for you. So your work has been seen internationally, and you've collaborated with major institutions like the New York City Department of Transportation and Nike. How do you move from an independent creative to land in major institutional and corporate partnerships?
That's a great question. So it's one of two ways. Obviously, the obvious answer is networking, but I'll talk about the 9 to 5. So I did the side hustle to entrepreneurship journey. I didn't just jump out being an entrepreneur after college. I have worked in agencies, and then my biggest job that I ever landed was Madison Square Garden. So I worked for New York Knicks, the Rangers, Radio City, and I did all live entertainment that came through there. And we got about like 90 projects a week. So I was in the weeds when it came to that. But while I was there, I always felt like I had very good work acumen. So a lot of people always wanted to work with me even outside of that job. I think MSG is where I made a lot of my connections like that. Because they loved the way I was professional, they loved the way I got work done, and they loved the way that I communicated. So if you guys are interested in either running your own business or even just working in a very large-scale company like that, you have to communicate very well. So that's great emails, that is great presence, that's talking to people when you're going to certain events. And in that, I use some of those partnerships to get some of my bigger partnerships, because people remembered me from those jobs and recommended me for other jobs. And then we get into networking. So much like some of the other panelists, and my panelists who are here now, word of mouth is usually our biggest client base. That's a lot of people come to us because we work for somebody else and they were impressed with the work that we did. When it came to Department of Transportation, I'm in a sorority. I'm in Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and one of my friends who is a Kappa actually reached out to me, and he was like, oh, I think you would be dope to do this mural. I applied just like on a whim. I applied like literally the last day, and I wound up being the artist that did the whole front mural on 191st Street in Washington Heights. So it's things like that. And then also I built my portfolio in my jobs that I worked through. So like I said, I started my business when I was in high school. I was doing flyers on campus. I was doing Snapchat filters. I was in the sorority, so I was doing Letterman jackets. I was doing tiki designs. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. Built my portfolio, so my portfolio was actually stronger than a lot of my classmates I graduated with. With that portfolio, then landed MSG. With that portfolio, then went to California. With that, like you can see, the portfolio gets bigger and bigger and bigger by the experience that I have. So if you guys want to get into a creative field, your portfolio is going to speak for you no matter what. You don't even got to be in a room. You just got to have good work.
Thank you. And I want to point out the importance of the portfolio work. I know, so like I told you earlier, I work in communications, I do branding and stuff like that. So a lot of advice I always give to people that's trying to start off early is doing a portfolio. The schools I went to, they didn't put an importance on portfolio work until I got to my master's program. And all the work that I've done, all the comm stuff, graphics, was just lost in the wind because I wasn't focusing it all in one place. And like she said, your work will step into rooms before you even step into it. People's gonna remember the stuff that you did before they remember your face. So build that portfolio, no matter what it looks like. Make sure y'all build your portfolio out.
Can I say something real quick too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, your social media can be a form of your portfolio too. So if you guys here, I see a couple of y'all who do content creation and stuff like that. You need to make sure that your Instagram or your TikTok, or if you're on LinkedIn, whatever platform you're on, it needs to look good. Like, I don't want to see any type of filler stuff. I don't want to see any type of like, you know, bad energy onto your social media, because they'll send your Instagram over. And if you don't have no pictures of your work, somebody's not going to hire you. So that's also another thing.
Yep. And sorry, because I was working with a client. Okay, we got 15 minutes left. Well, I was working with a client not too long ago. And make sure when y'all Google your name, y'all check it. Because he has something there, the client I was working with, he has something there as a joke, but then he's trying to run for something. So, but it's like you Google it, and the first thing somebody see is that, you know, that's important. Your digital footprint is a real thing. And don't let nobody ever tell you it's not. Your digital footprint is a real thing. Okay, so bring it back. So, this is for everybody. So, each of your brands are deeply personal. Whether it's Caribbean-inspired, immersive art, architectural, candle design, or Bronx rooted streetwear and beyond. How important is cultural identity when building a brand that lasts? And how can you give somebody advice on getting over imposter syndrome when it comes to your culture and your business and the stuff that stands in front of you too? Sorry, that was a packed question.
Oh, wow. Repeat the question.
Basically.
Yeah,
how do you remain culturally relevant with your work? And how do y'all overgo any imposter syndrome when it comes to your brand, your culture, and then things that's standing in front of you?
Well, I mean, I feel like the imposter syndrome is just over time. You will eventually realize that you're here for a reason. You're still here. Like with the brands that existed in 2013 when I came out, none of those exist now. And like even with bigger brands that I wore growing up, some of those don't exist. So I know that my longevity means something on all scales, not just personal or regional or anything. And with like the culture and the heritage, like if you really look at all the other boroughs, like out of everybody else, Bronx is the least gentrified. I mean, we're getting there, but that's kind of my inspiration, where it's like I need to carry that along. Mm-hmm. Like the beef patty store I went to on 225th and 226 since when I was 5 years old is still there. The grandmother's still there. That's where I seen mom and pop. I seen family business that I inspired to be. I didn't know at the time, but when I look back, it's like I don't want to go somewhere and be on a kiosk. I want to speak to the person that speaks like me. Yep. I don't say oxtails with an S. I say oxtail. I know there's a difference. It means something to me. So in my clothing and everything I do, it goes along. Like last year, early enough, like I got Bounty Killer is a Jamaican artist. His son came to my studio and got him dressed, and the next day he was at Kingston Fashion, where before I was doing anything smart, I used to just chill outside that place, and he's in there, and they're like, come now, because he has your full outfit on, and it's a full circle moment. Like I carry my heritage and my culture with me in every room. It just matters to me. Like, we come and everybody thinks of White Plains Road, top of Gun Hill, 241st as Little Jamaica. I want to continue that.
Yep.
And that's all I have. I have to carry that.
No, that hit home, Brody. No, definitely. Cultural identity is everything. When you're authentic, when you're unapologetic, that makes your brand, that makes the story that you're telling that much more powerful. And it's incredible, to represent the Bronx when we work with people like Slick Rick, Cardi B, Kerry Washington, right? And they are looking at your work, you know what I mean? They're seeing the work that you're putting out there. They're seeing the merch, and they're reaching out to you to work with them. Is a beautiful thing to be seen, to be heard, and really that's what the Bronx is about, right? That's what the hip hop is about, right? Being heard, being seen, being unapologetically yourself, and just going out there and creating impact. And cultural identity is super important for our brand, Bronx Native, and that's why we do the things that we do. We're not only selling merch, we are telling a story. We are creating an event around stuff. We are making sure that our people are being seen, are being heard, and that means everything for us. So we got to continue. And then the imposter syndrome, that is a very real thing. I remember when I was starting off, I used to think like I don't belong here, or these certain resources, these certain things belong to another demographic or some other peeps. But as I continue, I learn that we don't need them, they need us, right? We gotta go out there, walk with authority, right? We gotta, when we go into a room, demand authority, go out there like you're really them, because we are them. We are him, we are her, you know what I mean? And just, again, coming back to that believing in yourself, you have to be the Lulu, you know what I mean? You gotta be delusional. You gotta go out there and believe that you can take over the world, because we can and we will. And we're doing it right now, so let's get it. Yeah.
I'll go, and you go.
All right, so I just want to say something really quickly. I feel that being authentic is very important. On social media, it's very easy for people to tell when you're trying to be someone you're not. And if you are authentic, you're able to connect with that audience, and you're able to connect with the audience that actually connects with you for who you are. So just be authentic, be yourself.
All right, and to wrap that up, I would definitely say if you're into the arts, specifically, oh my God, I'm tripping on my words, specifically a fine artist, you want to tell a story of a life that you lived. So for example, when I'm like reaching out to galleries or people are reaching out to me, different curators, one of the things that they enjoy a lot about my work is that I talk about a specific moment in time or in life. So I have a piece called Bodega that actually got purchased by LaGuardia Airport, so it's going to be in one of the lounges for Capital One. The reason that they specifically chose that one is because it talks about a black woman who is coming up in New York City on a corner somewhere, specifically in Queens, which is where I live, and you see all the different elements of what a typical bodega will look like. And on top of that, it does augmented reality and all these different things. But what I have found is that when I have collectors who do want to purchase pieces like that, they specifically want to find things that are very true to an identity that you have lived. So and the only way that you could do that is if you get up and if you go outside. I know it's so easy to sit on our phone. Trust me, I'm on my phone all the time too, but you do have to go out. You got to go to parties. You got to go to the park. You got to go talk. If you go to church, you got to go to church. I know that it's hard to leave the house sometimes and you feel really comfortable in your bed, but you're not going to be able to experience any type of life or have any type of story if you don't leave the house. So that would be my advice to anybody who wants to get into the fine arts.
Thank you. Okay, so we're about to close this up with the last question. So, if you all had to predict the next wave of creative careers, sorry, y'all heard that? Creative careers, whether in fashion, tech, art, or digital media, what skills should students start developing right now?
Well, How far down are we talking? Like 5, 10 years, or like?
It could be. I like to do short term, so like in the next 1 to 3.
All right, I think. All right. Well, matter of fact, still, I think we kind of reached peak with like super duper online stuff. I've seen that like Gen Z and other people, they kind of don't. They thinking of times to be off their phone and come together. I think, and a lot of big corporations that I work with, they're looking for events. They want real life. In real life experiences, and I think what's next is we're gonna revert back to I need to see you, because the numbers are inflated. Somebody could buy these numbers and they don't translate. These companies are looking for people to have 1 million followers and can't push product. And it's like, does this matter? What really matters is us. We are the commodity. We are everything. So if you have real numbers and you could really touch people, that's what's gonna matter. And I think it's gonna move back to that somehow of like, maybe being someone that could curate and get a room together, that's what's going to be next and most valuable.
Definitely agree with that one. Thank you.
Because I have so many different titles, I'll start with graphic design. If you want to get into communications or graphic design, definitely you want to have very good writing and communication skills. You gotta take your dictionary out, your thesaurus out. You gotta learn a lot of different words and learn how to speak properly and eloquently. That would be the first skill I would tell you to do. I will also tell you have really good admin skills, so you should be knowing client management systems. You should be knowing how to draft a good email, how to write a good proposal, a good statement. That would be for like the graphic design, maybe / entrepreneur side of things. Also how to read your bank statements, because as an entrepreneur, you have to know profit and losses. You have to look at your bank statements every month. You gotta know your credit card bills. What are you spending money on? What's your cost of goods and services? All those different things are the numbers that you guys should be learning about now. Learn about taxes. Everybody, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you should be putting 30% to the side for your taxes. Don't let the IRS come after you.
Yep.
And then for art and for immersive skills, if you want to get into 3D, that's a really great skill to have. I know AI is like something that's really big within my ecosystem, but I personally don't use a lot of AI unless I'm using it for something to assist with like outlining. I do a lot of the work myself, so I would definitely say Blender, Unity. If you wanted to get into the 2D aspect of it, which is what I do, that's After Effects, Premiere, Final Cut Pro, all those kinds of things, and of course the whole entire Adobe Creative Suite, and Canva, because Canva is the easiest one and it's also free. So those are some technical skills that I would recommend.
Awesome. Clap it up, clap it up. Definitely agree with that. I do believe things are shifting a little bit more to analog right now, just because we've hit kind of that peak social media fatigue. So creating experiences where we can do things like this, right? Have real life conversations, see each other face to face and really experience each other. When it comes to communication, that's 100%, you know what I mean? To be able to articulate yourself, to be able to speak about an idea, right, and properly communicate that with somebody else, and not only through speaking, but also through fashion, through art, right? How do we make sure that whatever we're doing is being digested the way that we want people to take that in? So I think that's very important. Critical thinking, right? We have to get ourselves together, right? ChatGPT, AI is out here going crazy, but also not being scared of that new technology, right? Making sure that we're using it as a tool to help us not be left behind and be more impactful in the work that we're doing, right? So learning how to prompt accordingly, right? Learning how to utilize AI or ChatGPT for a blueprint or anything like that. I think that's going to be something that in the coming years is going to become something that people are going to be using more and more, and is going to be more looked at as regular. And then I would say this, be optimistic, right? I feel like nowadays there's so many things that are keeping us in this loop and this kind of like, we have entrepreneurship fatigue. We're working, we got to do social media, right? Be optimistic, smile a little more, connect with your peers, your friends, your families, your neighbors, and really think about what's important, right? What aligns with your mission, with your cause, and really being intentional in the work that you're doing. Intentionality is going to be very important. because a lot of brands right now, they're not really looking at these super, massive influencers. They're looking at micro influencers now. They're looking at people that have a niche and are very, are really organic in the work that they're doing and have that cult following and that community. So let's build community and let's stay ahead of the game. Let's make it happen. So thank you guys. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I like that. And I want to piggyback on the idea of communication, right? I feel that the most valuable skill in today's age, and really and truly in all of human history, is sales. If you're able to sell something, you're able to really and truly always have money in your pocket. So for anybody that doesn't know how to sell and articulate themselves in a way that makes somebody want to purchase and do business with you, then I would say really, really, really look into sales, look into communication, and you'll be able to be more successful in whatever field you're in.
And shameless plug, like I said, I'm a branded and integrated communications consultant, so if you need help. But we got 5 minutes left, so thank y'all all. Before we go, just shout out your Instagram, how people can get in contact with y'all and stuff like that.
Yes. We're on all social media platforms at The Bronx Native. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're on there. Also LinkedIn, shout out to LinkedIn. Don't sleep on that platform. There's a lot to it. But yeah, and if you guys are in the South Bronx, come visit us at our brick and mortar shop, 127 Lincoln Avenue in the Boogie Down Bronx. And we have other ventures too. We have Tag Up Music, which is a recording studio. If there's any artists out here that want to tap in, lock in. And we have a screen printing shop in the South Bronx as well, where we do all types of screen printing, embroidery, accessories, all that good stuff. So let's make it happen. Thank you guys.
All right, so if you guys want to follow me, and also if you have questions, because I do like to answer questions for up-and-coming designers, my website is delasnoop.com, so that's DELASNP.com. You can find all my social media there, but my personal social, if you ever want to reach out to me on Instagram, is at delasnoop, which is DELASNOOP, because I couldn't get my actual name, on Instagram. And then also coming up is that I am teaching students how to do the type of art that I do. So if you're into traditional and augmented reality art and you don't mind traveling to Brownsville, I know it's far, it is free. You do get, I know, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm sorry.
You got a virtual option?
There is a Bronx option, but she's teaching photography. It's called the Neon Arts Program. I don't know if any of y'all have heard it, but I'm teaching the digital art and traditional art classes. So it is in Brownsville, New York, but if you are interested, you can reach out to me on social media and I can send you the link. My class is waitlisted for now, but we should be having openings in about 2 weeks if that's something that you guys are interested in. And then I also host a lot of field trips to learn about the type of work that I do as well. So make sure that you guys subscribe to my newsletter and follow me on social media.
My name is my name everywhere. Muggsy McFly is right there on this beautiful screen. My brand is signed by McFly, and I also, everything is held at McFly Studios. That's 4419 White Plains Road, 238 in the Bronx. I just want to plug again, I'm going to be announcing a YMCA fashion design class for 13 to 19-year-olds. Supposed to start March, so you can follow me, and as soon as it drops, you'll know. Lastly, Friday, I will be speaking at Chase in Harlem, 5 o'clock, I believe. If you're in the area, come by. It's good to see us in those rooms. It's important. Trust me, behind the scenes, that's what they're looking for. And yeah, and like she said, like, I really do care about, teaching people that look like me and come from where I come from. So if you ever have a question, I know there was somebody in here that was a designer and everything like that. Like, I mean that. Like, I have a DTG machine. You want to make some samples, pull up on me. I'll teach you everything I know. I make everything. I made money. I make everything. Everything I have on is mine, down from my hair to my sneakers. So you could do the same thing.
Yeah, love that. So my Instagram is called Imperfectly Perfect Candles, where on Instagram and YouTube, we don't have a TikTok account, but someone is basically impersonating me on TikTok. So that's that. But I'm on Instagram at Perfectly Perfect Candles, and I have some business cards. So if anyone wants it, QR code's on the back. Just come up to me and I'll hand you one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and we appreciate you for coming. Give another round of applause for our panelists.
And let's give a round of applause for Jata, our moderator. When you guys have issues that I can be supportive in, you got to let me know. So that issue that he has around the TikTok, just let me know. I got you. We have a good relationship with TikTok. We can help fix any issues that you guys have with the social media. I just need you guys to say thank you to the volunteers who did all of this work, putting it together for 2 days. And Team Jackson, I need y'all to come up here to the front. None of this is possible without these young ladies who pour their blood, sweat, tears, heart, soul, every prayer into these events. So I have to say thank you to them. They deal with my nonsense, so to God be the glory for them. That's right. That's right. Walk it out. We're going to take a quick photo, and then we are pretty much done for the day. I'm handing it over to Sherman. Oh, sorry. Naya said no.
Yes. So you guys will take the picture right over there. Hey, this has been an amazing day. Big shout out to all the panelists. Let's give them another round of applause. Now, let me just say this. Let me give a big shout out to all of the young people who are here today, who stayed this entire time, right? To be here in this space. They didn't come up with excuses. They made it happen. I see the group from Collab is in the house, right? Big shout out to them. Make some noise for them. I know Aim High is in the house. Aim high. Aim high. So we are all here. And this was amazing information. But as we said in the beginning, information without application is only fascination. And we're not here to fantasize about what's next. Action is going to be necessary because an ounce of action weighs more than a ton of intention. It's never about what you intend to do. It's about how you execute. So you met some people here today. You have to go and connect with them, and you have to follow up. Don't leave here, take the selfies, and tell people what you're going to do next week. We want you to do it now. Because I don't want you to let your ego write checks that your character can't cash. So if you said you're here today to make the connections and to make things happen, let's make sure we're making the things happen within the next 30 minutes. So whoever you need to meet, whoever you need to connect to, we want to do it right now. I'm going to ask DJ and the AMI brothers to come up here. These are young entrepreneurs making moves. All the AMI crew come up here very quickly. Because the reason why you see them taking action is because they understand that they are here to be game changers. We're not talking about the future. We're talking about now. We're talking about making things happen every day, day by day. Make sure that you guys are following Chantel Jackson 79 on Instagram, because we want to make sure you're following her so you know all of the events and everything that's about to happen. But beyond all, whatever your struggle is, whatever your setback has been, remember to affirm yourself. You're from the Bronx, you're from Brooklyn, you're from Harlem, wherever you are, remember to affirm yourself, to remind yourself of who you are and the potential you have and the power that you have within. It's something that you must know and you must believe. So these are some of the young members of the AMI Empowerment Institute. And DJ is going to show you how they affirm themselves.
Well, so I'm going to be honest with you, I don't need the mic. We're going to shake the room for this one.
Let's go. You don't know it yet, you just follow along. It's all good.
I just want to shout out to somebody that has been really important to me, Sherman Brown, the leader and CEO. The leader, CEO of Aim High Empowerment Institute, and also the leader of these young people right here that's about to shake the room. I just want to give a shout out to Sherman Brown right here. Clap it up for him.
I appreciate that. I wasn't expecting it, but thank you, and thank you, Assembly Member Jackson, for all the work that you do. Shake the room, boss.
We are the men of the Aim High Empowerment Institute, and this is how we affirm ourselves. We are men with ambition, inspiration, and motivation.
what it's about right here. Affirming ourselves and collab together. We're all together making it happen. When I say aim, you say high. Aim. High. Aim. High. When I say next, you say wave. Next. Wave. Next. Wave. Next. Wave. Next. Wave. The next wave is right here, right now. And together with Assembly Member Jackson, we are making it happen. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Round of applause. The last applause is because we registered 5 people to vote because they are on the next wave of voting this year. Thank you, everyone. I love y'all. Continue to serve each other. Continue to uplift each other. Thank you, Sherman. I can't thank you enough. Everyone get home safe.